tonight's episode of the Gamecasters, we take a look at the games we've been playing recently. I have a surprise for our 40th episode, and then we talk about 5 games that give you a visceral reaction. Stay tuned. Hello there, gamers, and welcome back to the podcast that keeps on going despite the obvious lack of interest. Seriously, if our downloads were any lower, they'd steal my identity. If they were put in the form of a famous person, they would have gone from Brad Garrett to Peter Dinklage in just a short coronavirus-like stint. Listen, everyone, this is a cry for help. Please do your part to listen to us over and over and over again. Just put the same episode on repeat all day on a seldom used computer up in your attic or something. We didn't realize how Horcrux attached our self-esteems were to our downloads. Back in December, January, and February, we were riding high. We were the 97th most popular tabletop board gaming podcast out of Commerce, Michigan in the age 30 to 31 bracket. And we were enjoying all the fame and adoration that came with it. People were recognizing me in the street. Well, not so much the street as in my daydream, but it was the same kind of thing. Restaurants, they weren't calling the police on me for not paying anymore and were just rudely kicking me out. Then the coronavirus came on and hit us squarely in the nutsack that we keep tied around our waists to feed squirrels. And our downloads plummeted faster than an old man after the 4-hour Viagra mark. But do we care? Yes. Oh, my God, do we care?
Yeah, kind of.
I know, kind of. No, I'm making it sound worse than it is. We really seriously only do this because it's fun for us. The downloads don't matter. Who wants to be popular and talked about constantly from all their gaming peers they hold in high esteem? Who wants everyone to hear their show and write in telling them how great they think they are? That crap is for losers who want to make something of themselves. But us, we just want to listen back to ourselves and not yell at past us for saying too many times. Is that too much to ask? Well, with coronavirus, we've gotten our wish. A handful of downloads, that's probably just us listening back to ourselves, and deep, crippling paranoia. So, with all that awkwardness out of the way, what's up with you guys? You can say anything you want because no one's listening.
Yeah.
That's true.
Get offended. So,
well, I'll just say I'm very behind on the podcast I listen to, so
including ours.
Is it ours?
Yeah, including ours.
No, I mean, no, not ours, of course.
Yeah, I think we're
all the other ones, and so I'm just, fingers crossed. That's all it is.
Yeah, maybe it's just the virus. Are we getting worse?
I don't know. I wondered that too. I'm like, we're kind of doing the same thing as normal. Is it me? It's probably me. We should do an episode without me, and we'll see if the downloads just spike.
No, I don't think that'll happen. You're like the stand-up comic on the episode.
So what has been going on, Jeff?
What has been going on? That's a good question. Well, I desperately need a haircut.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's getting to a point that it's starting to really annoy me, and that's
I've been
saying
wondering
something.
if clippers are even available because everybody's
No, I checked on
way.
Amazon. Nothing is. You can't get it Prime. I mean, that's how everything is right
it's
now,
not like essential. So yeah, I'm dying to get a haircut.
My hair is gonna go off camera.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like,
It just grows up.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really been it. It's hard to have any new news when we have to do the same thing every single day.
I know. We finished Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot.
We finished it last night.
We're in the last season right now, so we got to finish that. We're gonna finish Ozark soon,
yes.
and then we're gonna finish Mr. Robot, and then we have Better Call Saul. Those are our next 3.
Oh, nice.
How far into Mr. Robot are you?
We just have the maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Not very far.
Oh, okay.
We just finished it yesterday.
We watched it probably in a few days. It's very good.
First half of the season, I was like, this might be the best season of the show yet.
Oh, great. Yeah,
there was a few episodes in a row we were just like, wow.
Rami Malek is so good.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's a good actor.
I like Darlene too.
Yeah.
I like whenever Darlene kisses another woman. Just fucking
those scenes are great.
Be honest. Yeah, I don't mind those ones.
I got a random thing. So we know Jim Gamer. So Jim Gamer
yeah, we
on
do.
Instagram, he sent me this thing saying, so he lives in the UK, and it's this website that kind of talks about board games that are on sale, sort of. It's like a list, and it's like, here's where they're the cheapest, and these board games that are like, this is the hotness. Most people are searching for them. Here's where you can find them cheap, whatever. And he told me, he's like, a lot of games that pop up on this website are games that Shut Up and Sit Down talk about.
Love Shut Up and Sit Down.
They'll talk about them, and then they'll pop up on this website. So he messaged me the other day, and he's like, so for the first time ever, the game Crusaders was on this website, and he's like, I can only attribute it to you guys talking about Crusaders. So we just influenced the UK to search for Crusaders and buy it on this cheap website. So we're taking credit for that.
Maybe we're not doing as poorly as we thought we were. I'm sure there's some other thing. That,
there has to be.
But hey, let's think that's us.
Yeah, I said
we
we
just
also going to take credit for it. We'll do it.
Might as
I'll
well.
take credit. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, what's going on with you, Natalie?
Oh, with me? Well, good news. We're out of our rut with games. Remember, we kept saying for a while we just weren't playing games. Well, that has changed.
You guys
now,
are killing
every single day, we're like, let's play a game. Let's play a game.
Right now, we have the crew set up. I was hoping to get it played before the show, but we'll probably get it played right after the show.
We were gonna play it yesterday, but then we got sucked into Mr. Robot.
Yeah, the robots. That'll do it.
Yep.
Shit. But
DJ Roomba sucked us up.
We played a bunch of games recently, and that was really fun. And
you'll hear about those soon.
Yeah,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned or don't, whatever. You're not listening anyway.
Make sure you download it.
I can't remember.
Yeah, right. Or at least stream it. I think streams also count towards our downloads.
Oh, so get all of your friends' phones and just download it or stream it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying just stream it over and over again. I think it'll just keep dinging. A number. Oh my gosh. So if there's nothing else bantery section-y wisey, then I am excited to for everybody to hear your favorite host, Jeff, talk about your favorite thing, you. So prepare yourselves for the real reason you tune in, the Instagram inbox.
And now it's time for the Instagram inbox with the Mad Board Gamer.
Welcome to the inbox with the Mad Board Gamer. Last week, we talked about 5 games. You guys remember our list last week?
The 5-game list that we did last week?
Yes, it was.
Heck yeah. Games that you thought you'd like but didn't.
Yes.
Yes,
now
that was...
remember.
I got a lot of feedback. People really liked that section. People liked hearing
Yeah.
about us not liking some certain games that we really thought. And I think part of it is everybody has that feeling. Everybody has that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to love this. And then you're just like... So disappointed.
Right. Oh, no. What happened? Yeah, everybody can relate to that, I feel like.
Yeah, so I want to run through a few of those, and then I asked a really silly question on Instagram yesterday and got some really hilarious answers, so I want to go through those too. So, disappointing games. So this is games that you thought you'd like, but you didn't. Friday Night Games official. Didn't like Trogdor.
Oh, man. I want to play that game really badly.
do?
Yeah, for those of us in the Homestar Runner generation.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a game I'm interested in. But I mean, did anybody really think that was going to be that great?
No, I think it seems like it's just like a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Just like to have it.
Right.
Trivia Geek didn't like Raccoon Tycoon.
Okay, I've heard good things about that game. But
Me too.
Is that a train game, though?
I don't know. I thought it was like an economy type of game.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't either.
And Natalie, I don't want to... This is the tough one. The McMeeples, who is great listeners, they don't like Castles Burgundy.
They're the one.
Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
did do a beatdown of it, so we know there's people out there.
Yep.
No, that's a divisive game. I mean, for all the people like us three who really love point salads and Euro style games, there's just as many people who think that's the worst part about a Euro game.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it, but I accept your
You understand
opinion.
that those people exist in the world.
You have opinions.
Yeah.
So you don't hate the McMeeples.
No.
Yeah. Being Friends official was very disappointed in War of the Ring.
Oh,
Darn,
really?
that bums me out because I want to play that so
Yeah,
badly.
that's on our
You
list.
have it, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
I've
on
had
our board.
Dude, I've had
right
it for
now.
like 8 years. And I just
Yeah.
cannot get that sucker to the
You've had it
table.
that long?
Well, I guess
had it.
hopefully it won't disappoint you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Emotional Cyborg disappointed in Wingspan.
Yep, I can understand that. That I think
very
is a
hyped.
victim of hype, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you hear about it. It's kind of like how Breaking Bad was for me. Before I watched Breaking Bad, I didn't watch it until it was over. And so everybody was like, this is the best show that's ever been. And I was like, oh, yes. And I watched it and I was like, it was a good show. I don't know that I would call it the best show ever,
Yeah.
Got hyped
But that's
up.
because I wasn't involved. So
Zim V 2.0, Joey. She was disappointed in Pandemic, which so am I.
Yeah, I was too.
Well, I mean, that's another one where that came out in like 2009, I think. And it was like the first really big popular cooperative game. And so, now here we are in 2020, 11 years of improvement on, just the cooperative genre in general. I can see going back not being as enamored with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Bad board game covers, one of our favorite accounts. Disappointed in First Martians.
Everybody's disappointed in First Martians.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody hates that game.
Speaking of bad board game covers, you guys we should fill out I fill out that bracket all the time. You guys should fill out his bracket.
How the heck do you do that? I don't know. I feel like
we were
I don't
gonna
know
do a
what
bracket.
is wrong with me.
Remember?
Okay, so here's what I do.
Every single cover I get, and then I see his bracket, and I'm like, what am I? How do I?
So here's what I
know.
do is he posts a thing, I take a screenshot of the empty bracket.
Yeah.
And then I put it into my Instagram stories, and I just draw on, like, I type in who's going to win each thing, and then I just save that picture and I send it to him.
Oh.
So we should do it. The three of us should do it
Absolutely.
next time. Because I've done it. I just haven't won. I'm bad at it.
He regularly, so he does his bad board game covers where, you see the pixelated versions of the games, and then you have to get it.
Right.
And then he does his other thing where he does this bracket, kind of like an NCAA bracket, and he pits things against themselves, and then it gets down to 2, and then there's a champion.
Games?
Yeah, games or designers or publishers. He's done a lot of that.
How do
different
they?
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People vote.
Yeah, so that's the thing I don't really know. Jeff, you're gonna have to talk about it,
so
because
then
I
people
see it
vote.
and I'm like, I don't know how to enter this. I'm
Yeah,
stupid.
so I submit a bracket. I don't know how he counts points, if it's just like you get 1 point for getting like the matchup right, and then he'll just post on his story which game is better or which publisher is better or what. And
But he just decides that it's not the people deciding that.
So for at least like the Spiel des Jahres, he went by like BGG rank. So right now he's doing like co-op games. So the number 1 ranked co-op game is Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven, yeah.
So that's like that goes against the number 16th ranked co-op game or whatever the number is. Yeah.
Mansions of Madness.
Yeah. So then he just like the thing will go up there and everybody will hit who they're voting for, and
I'm looking at this video
publishes
right
a
now,
winner.
and I really think this is my good side.
Oh.
So I'm trying to kind of keep my head this way.
Yeah. So
when I
anyway,
go
check it out.
here,
Check out Bad Board Games covers little
my B side.
his brackets.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
B-side.
I thought we were gonna do a bracket something at one point.
We were gonna for one of the games that we did, and it just I don't think logistically it works very well with just the two of you. If I had joined in, maybe, but I don't know.
So where do we get this blank bracket?
I'll send you
posts
the next
them.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send you the
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah, I'd like to do it.
I feel like such a Luddite. I have no idea what I'm doing.
No, I got you.
Yeah, all right.
All right, I'm going to keep
He's
going.
the Instagram inbox mad board gamer guy, so he knows
Boom.
all about.
Yeah, I don't know what you
Instagram
did your
stuff.
Instagram last week when you like couldn't read things.
What happened?
Remember you sent me this thing that was like, how do I read the rest of the responses?
Oh yeah.
Oh
I don't know what
yeah,
you did.
comment.
Yeah, that's a problem with my. It's like nothing like the iPhone, which is.
Yeah.
God, I sound so old. The iPhone.
How do you read this reply?
How do I handle this newfangled contraption? I ended up figuring.
Well,
it out,
I mean,
though.
everything
Yeah.
that the internet said was not. It was.
Yeah,
just not,
right. Everything we looked up was not
we were
right.
seeing,
It was.
yeah.
It just. I ended up being able to see the responses looking in my, your notifications section,
Yeah, that's weird.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So who knows? So continue.
We're looking.
Okay, Sergio in the Philippines.
Yeah, is there Joe?
Maki Koro didn't hit for him, or Machi Koro.
I was
Depending
did you
on
say
how wanna say
Maki
it.
Koro? I wonder
Yeah,
how that's pronounced.
Machi
I've always
Koro.
called it Machi Koro, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, who knows?
I get that.
Yep, that's another one.
That's kind of a gateway-ish game.
Yeah, I think if
in
you're
my
beyond
opinion.
that
right,
can be
and
very
if you
disappointing.
Play it, yeah.
Yep. I like it, though. I
Fantasy.
think it's a good game.
Me too.
Yeah, fantasy and some flights.
What's up, Fantasy and some flights?
Yep. He doesn't like Everdell. Wife doesn't like Dinosaur Island. Oh, no, it's the other way around. He doesn't like Dinosaur Island. Wife doesn't like Everdell.
Dinosaur
We are with him
Island.
completely on Dinosaur Island, and sort of with his wife on Everdell. The last play for us for Everdell was just disappointing.
Man, I've had great plays of that every time. So I'm excited to play the new expansions for that.
That's what sucks is we played it. We played it recently, and we were like, eh. And then the expansions came the next day.
We were like, oh no.
Like,
Oh, no.
shit, what do we do now?
Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah,
Maybe
Maybe
we'll
we'll
get
give
to
it more
we're gonna
chances.
give it
It's
another
just
shot.
too pretty
Yeah.
to just give up on.
Kind of like you.
Aw.
Because I want to leave, but you're just too
Yeah,
pretty.
you're just too pretty.
Thanks. Like,
A new user. We haven't heard from this account before. This is at 2 New Meeples.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, new user.
Yeah, it doesn't like the Castles of Burgundy card game,
Okay.
which I have not played.
Yep, I have.
I have not played
It's
it
good.
either.
I think it's good. That game, I think I reviewed on the podcast back in the Jeremy days, and I remember my exact words for it was, "Why does this exist?"
Yeah.
It was good, but it was still a humongous table hog, and so I was like, I don't really understand what its purpose is because usually you think when you got a card game like Castle of Burgundy, the dice game, you have played, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
That one's, a roll and write, and it
Doesn't
distills,
take up a lot of space.
and it distills Castles of Burgundy down into a dice game, and it's different enough. But the card game is almost exactly the board game, and it's just as big, and it takes just as long. And
yeah, so just play the regular game.
Yeah, so it was good. I honestly, I think what I remember saying about it was, if you only buy the card game, I don't think you need the board game, and vice versa. It was that, like, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, similar.
I just didn't think you needed both.
At Boardgame family doesn't like code names. We're disappointed with code names.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah,
I do hear that more than you'd think.
Really?
and the only thing I know about this account is that Mrs. Baird was my second grade teacher, so I don't know if that's the same
She doesn't
family.
like code names? What's up with that?
Just let me know if that's you. At John Alexson was disappointed in Merchants and Marauders.
I've heard a lot of people disappointed in that game.
Yep, I've heard the same. My board game time disappointed in Root.
Oh no,
I know, but it's so
still
beautiful.
we haven't played
that.
that yet. We got to play that.
Oh yeah, you guys do have to play that.
We're too scared to like. We just feel like we've heard it's a lot of like stuff to learn for each faction or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, well, and there's only two of us, Joe, Board Game Madigan, has told us that I think the designer maybe recommends that you play, like, if we play 2-player, we play, and then we reverse the factions and play the other faction that the opponent played or something like that, and then, that's the way you're supposed
play
to
it
do
twice.
Yeah, I think you play it
back.
twice. You play it, yeah. It was something like that. So that sounded kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's on our shelf of shame for sure. But
Yeah.
hopefully it's not a disappointment.
Yeah. Gaming with Santanas would have one in common with Ryan Scythe. A little disappointed in Scythe. Okay, I know that was not one of your favorites.
Yeah, I didn't even not like it. I played it with you and your brothers, I think, Jeff, actually, for the first time.
Yeah, we did.
And I remember liking it. I just remember thinking, honestly, I was like, this reminds me a lot of Terra Mystica, or what I like about Terra Mystica. And I've heard that Jamie Stegmaier was inspired in part by Terra Mystica, and I love that game. So I was like, I think I'd just always rather play Terra Mystica.
Yeah.
Kind of Jones theoried it.
Makes sense.
Jim Gamer disappointed in Terror Below, which I've also heard some people disappointed in that game a lot.
Yep. Looks cool, though.
Justine Velasio.
Ooh, Velasio.
Disappointed in Eldritch Horror.
Yep. Okay. I
Yeah,
played that one time. I remember not thinking it was super cool.
Yeah, I like Eldritch Horror. It's like Arkham Light if you don't want to play a whole game of Arkham.
You like it better than Arkham, then?
I wouldn't say I like it better. I would say it's different enough where if I don't want to play a 4-hour game of Arkham, I would play Eldritch in 2 and get the same sort of feeling from it.
Right. Okay.
SD Bram, also a teacher, didn't like Scythe again. It's another one.
2 for Scythe.
Haskell Jr. Azul. Disappointed in Azul.
Yeah, okay. It's another hype machine. So
Yeah. It could be
and it's so
hype.
complicated. I mean, you got to be part of Mensa to even understand the rules. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
You guys, do I have resting bitch face?
I don't know.
No.
I'm looking right now, and I'm going to try to...
No,
Just, like,
trust me,
smile.
you don't.
There you go.
You
That's
trust me.
better.
I've had a lot of Zoom calls with people at work, and some of them, their resting face is a literal, like,
That's because they're miserable. They're on a Zoom call for work.
Yeah, that's true. That is terrible.
All right, last one. Penelope
Okay.
Gaming, disappointed in Crystal Palace.
What?
stop it.
I don't really know much about that game, but...
I don't know much about that game either.
I don't have resting bitch face.
Well,
I
not
promise
now, I don't.
you. I
Jeff,
promise.
Jeff coached me. Now I'm good.
Now you look great.
Now you look like a crazy
Crystal
person.
Palace.
Crystal Palace. Yeah, if you
just
just don't
happy.
move your mouth, you'll look...
You look like you had plastic surgery.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to read some of these. I asked a question last night, and I got a bunch of responses.
Yes.
So
What do we got?
The question that Ryan and I kind of talked about yesterday was, if you could destroy a game in some grandiose way, a game that you hated, how would you do it?
Yeah.
Here's some of the answers. So I'm going to save the best one for last because it's really funny. Miss French Toast and
I knew
Jim-
I
know.
knew for a fact. I'm like, for some reason, all I could think of, I was like, Sam's going to answer this one. I don't know why I knew that.
Yep.
I just knew that.
Yeah.
So both Miss French Toast and Jim Gamer took a little shot at Trump's rant the other day and said that they would take the game that they hate, which for Sam was Unstable Unicorns, and Jim hates the new Mousetrap game. Apparently, he would.
I didn't know there was a new mess.
Me either. He said it's like cheap.
I
The
love
parts
that
are
they
yeah.
hate.
It's like the new cooties.
Yeah.
The crappy
Yeah, right?
parts.
I saw you just threw that away, by the way. It was in the garbage the other day.
Oh,
Don't
poor
tell the
cooties.
kids.
I know.
It is,
I'm
all
sorry.
the
They're
pieces are
avid
missing.
listeners.
Yeah, right. Don't tell them. Shh.
Yeah. So
The kids are our 2
so they would
downloads
both-
per week.
yeah. So they would both inject the game with disinfectant. That's what they would do.
That's funny.
Nuclear Knight, our buddy Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
He was really very nice because he answered me, and then I said, all right, what game would you want to do that to? And he was like, I don't want to pick a game because people work really hard on it. So he was very nice about picking a game.
He's like the nicest guy there is.
Yeah. If he would do it, he would take a game and donate it to a grade school. and I'm
where
sure
it's just going to get destroyed. It's like the Happy Home, or what is that in Toy Story 3?
Yes, where and they just they go to like the preschool.
In the room where and it's just like
he just slowly destroyed.
They just come in from like they're playing outside and they're just like rah!
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Days 1607 would want to douse scythe in gasoline and fire a flaming arrow into it and watch it burn.
Flaming arrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a
Lewis,
good one.
that is awesome.
Yes. Gaming with Santana's wants to take Cards Against Humanity and take every card and lay it out on his grass and then run it over with a lawnmower.
I feel like that's a Cards Against Humanity card.
Yes, yeah.
You know, running over the game with your lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's good.
And he wanted to make sure he mentioned, he's like, it can't be a windy day. I'm like, of course it can't be a windy day.
Yeah, they gotta get
Turn
what's
it into
coming to
mulch.
them.
Yeah.
That's like a literal beatdown.
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
Some of these are. So if Mythoron BGG, Feast for Odin, would like to burn it in a true Viking pyre style.
Thematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
Bring me wood and oil.
Yeah. Both Family Meeple and Joey, who is Zim V 2.0, wants to destroy Monopoly in Office Space style. Just like take it out.
With
Beat
a
it like
bat.
the copier or the fax machine or whatever that
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
In an open field.
Yeah. Just
In slow-mo.
like, yeah, slow-mo.
With like rap music or whatever they're playing.
Yeah, it's great.
That's so funny.
Emotional Cyborg had Emotional Cyborg might need to like calm.
Uh-oh.
Wants to take Monopoly or Candyland, one of those types of games.
Sure.
Wants to make little guys out of the components, give them faces, and then burn them.
Wow.
And then take the ashes and put them back in the box and burn the box.
Very well thought out.
Very
That's what
well
I was
thought
hoping
out.
for. I wanted people's like murdery sides to come out. That's what we got.
This is a little
Lots
crazy.
Lots of burninating.
Yep.
Did we think of that?
Never bored of gaming wants to take Munchkin and throw it into Mount Doom. Which I like.
From whence it came.
Yeah. All right. So this is Nestor's answer. We might have to do some beeping, but I'm just gonna read it.
Do it.
And
No
let
one's
it
listening
happen.
anyway. So.
Yeah, no one's listening. Who cares?
He said, "I would trash the game of fucking life." He says, "I played the shit out of that game when I was a kid, and I was like, I'm gonna be rich and have a nice family and a big ass house." Fast forward 30 years, not rich, family's a pain in the ass, and I live in a condo.
They lied to me.
Part of that was your delivery. Great job.
Yeah, thanks. It was. I thought that was so funny. And he did want.
really
He did want me to
funny.
make sure that his family is a pain in the ass is an exaggeration. So
Yeah.
Right.
if his family is listening, he loves you. But
He loves you, but
it
you
was so
weren't as
funny.
good as
But
his
cool
family
it.
in the game of life.
yeah, man, yeah, the pegs.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, so that was the Instagram inbox. I think we had fun doing the funny questions, so we'll maybe ask a silly question every episode or every other episode or so, just to kind of
Yeah.
see
those
how
are
creative
fun.
people can get.
I was
That's
trying
the
to think
good
like
stuff.
what game would I
That's
hate
the good
enough
stuff.
to like destroy in a grandiose way?
Yeah, mine would have to be some sort of like train game. It'd have to be run over by a train, right? I'd have to like
Yeah.
tie it to train tracks or something.
What games do I hate?
Or just put a train game in a car forever, and then it can never be by trains.
Boom.
Mine would, I guess, be that music game that I. beat
Oh, that you
down
rated
last
like
time.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, what would you do to it?
Something to the tune of "We Will Rock You." What's that scene in in that? What's that movie by Quentin Tarantino where they play "Stuck in the Middle with You" and the guy
Reservoir
cuts his,
Dogs.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs. Maybe I'd do some Reservoir Dogs. Like I'd
Yeah.
like sit that game in a chair and I'd dance
Just-
around it to "We Will Rock You" and then slice it
And then just torture
and then
it.
just like completely slice it up during those songs.
I like that. That's
All right.
good.
Yeah, I'd Reservoir Dogs it.
Yeah. So that was the inbox.
Awesome.
week.
Nice, I like it.
Fantastic. So now let's jump into backward style. Some games we've been playing. I wanted to give this a little bit of a primer because, whet your appetites for what I want to say now. Because, like Jeff said, we typically go first with the new hotness. So I want to start off with this new hotness we played. So let me tell you about what?
I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable because why did you switch things around? I don't understand.
Honestly, the reason why I wanted to get so this episode is our 40th episode, everybody. The big 4-0.
Yeah.
How do we not mention that yet?
Yeah. So it's not really a milestone, but
a big deal.
There's going to be a surprise happening at the end of this segment. And
Ryan's really 40 years old.
Not yet. I'm getting there. I did
He lied
for
to me
a while.
about his age.
I thought so. I'm 37. I thought I was 38, and Natalie told me a few weeks ago. She's like, "No, you're 37," and I was like, "I am." And I felt like the fountain of youth. I was like, "I just lost a year." It was like the greatest, like rolling back the clocks that's ever happened. Like, oh, we fell back. I fell back a year. I'm only 37. Holy shit! It was amazing. Really, I'm just getting old and stupid. But anyway, so I wanted to just kind of switch things up a little bit. So I thought, I wanted to hear from the people and see how that went first. It was really pretty arbitrary.
Oh, okay.
So there's nothing to be scared of. Don't worry.
Okay. Anyways, back to the hotness.
So about 2 months ago, I got an email because I'm on Plaid Hat's email listing, right? And they sent me an email and they're like, you can pre-order Forgotten Waters right now. We're ready to get pre-orders. And I was like, what the hell's Forgotten Waters? So I went to Board Game Geek and I looked it up and there wasn't much on it at all. Dude, there was like it was like nothing. So I was kind of like, how are people even knowing about it? But there was a few comments. And the comments were all like, this is like the coolest game I've ever played. This is giving me an experience like I've never felt. This is so good. I cannot wait till this comes out. And so that's about all I ever need. So I pre-ordered it.
And Plaid Hat they're solid.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And they have just also, didn't you say, maybe you mentioned this before, Jeff, but they seceded from the machine that is Asmodee. They bought
they
back
did.
their...
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think Jeff
they bought their own warehouse. They're in the process of moving everything into their own warehouse. That might be done by now, but yeah. So
fast forward a month or so, this was about 2 months ago when that happened, I get another email from Plaid Hat, and it's like, your Forgotten Waters pre-order is shipped. And again, I'm like, what the hell's Forgotten Waters? I completely
forgotten water.
I've forgotten that wait, the camera's over here. I've forgotten that I pre-ordered Forgotten Waters. And so I'm back to Board Game Geek and I'm like, what the hell is this game? And I looked it up and I remembered like, oh yeah, okay. I don't know anything about it. I just know it's supposed to be good. And at this point, there was a few more things out there. And so I read them and I just got real pumped up about it. So it shows up. And I was still a little skeptical at this point because, really Star Wars Destiny was the only game that gave me, that thing. And anytime I think a game's going to do something like that, it doesn't, right? So I took it with a grain of salt. Well, we busted the game out. Keep in mind, it's for 3 to 7 players.
That's cool.
There's only us two here. So I'm like, crap, are we not going to be able to do this? And I go on Board Game Geek, and there's some pretty awesome there's an awesome 2-player variant out. So let me explain all that Mad Board Gamer preamble out of the way. Let me talk about what the game is. So in Forgotten Waters, this is a cooperative, narrative-driven storybook type of game. So think kind of like Mansions of Madness, with that narrative style app stuff on top of a storybook game, which Plaid Hat puts out a lot, typically by Jerry Hawthorne, in his what are those games that he Stuffed Fables and Comanauts, and I think the new one we got Aftermath.
Oh, right.
Right, and you can see there, if you're watching the video, Jeff's got a picture up there of the Forgotten Waters storybook up at the top of the screen, and so basically what you have is everybody picks, it's a pirate-themed kind of a game, and there's an app that drives everything, and so the app tells you how to set up the game. As you can see here, there's a bunch of tiles you got to put out, and each tile has a number on it. The number corresponds to a story point in the app. So when you're moving your crew around to these island pieces, you enter the number of the island piece in the app, and the app reads you the story. And so you're basically your crew working on this pirate ship, and you're going through different scenarios. There's 5 different scenarios in the box, and each scenario Yeah, I mean, I'm to understand the first scenario we played took about 4 hours, I think.
Okay.
The scenarios come in 2 parts, so there's part A, part B, and well, I mean, we'll probably get faster as we go along. The first half of the first scenario took about 2 hours, and then you can save it after that. There's a whole save system that the game tells you can do, and so you can put the game away, save it, and then come back the next day if you need to, or whenever you want to, and start with part 2 of that scenario. We just so we did that. So we didn't save it. We just left it all set up on the table and did it in 2 days. But so what you do in the game, it's basically a worker placement game. Jeff, if you can find a picture on there of the storybook set out, I think that one right before the picture you're on might have it. Mm-hmm. So you can see, well, you can't see because it's not open, but the book itself, whenever your ship goes to a new tile, like I said with those numbers on it, you open the book per the app's instruction, and it brings you to this page with worker placement spots. There you go. You can see it right here on the right side. On the left side of the page is always the artwork of where you are. So we're on the open sea right now, according to this picture. And on the right, you can see all these different spots. They're numbered 1 to 7, and these are worker placement spots that you're gonna put on there. And the cool thing is, you're timed. You have 40 seconds to place your worker on these spots. You can't even see what the spots do. All you have are little icons of the spots. So you hit that timer, that start button, boom, on the timer, 40 seconds, and now we have to all work together really quickly to make sure we're putting our workers on the spaces we want to. And it's really tense and fun. So after that's over and the time stops, then you resolve the worker placement spots. And they're all about leveling up skills and performing skill checks. Again, if you've played Mansions of Madness, think you're rolling skill checks. You know, there's always some sort of story that you're doing. There's choices you're making. Jeff, go back to that last picture for me if you can. So if you see on here, there's 7 different boards that you have. That top one is all the characters in play. The one right below it is all the supplies you have. That's basically your resources you're spending. So you can see right there that supply is on space 4 of the track. Most of the decisions you make that let you level skills up and get all this awesome stuff, it costs things, right? It costs these supplies. So when the supplies get to 0, you can't do that stuff anymore. The next one down is the boatswain. And on that one, if that ever gets to 0, that's your hull, your ship's strength. If that ever gets to 0, you lose. Everybody loses. And so you have to spend that, on certain worker placement spots that you're going on to. But you have to, it's a tug and pull kind of thing. And then the last one there is the discontent and the crew track. You can't see the crew track, or can you? Is that on there? I might have the script up. You can. Yeah. Okay. So you can see the discontent, which is those swords, is at 4, and the crew is at 9. If those two ever meet
or cross,
then you lose. So you're constantly having to figure out how to deal with all this. So you can see there the standees on the worker placement spots. You're just going there and like I said, taking the actions to and really this whole thing is just narrative. So you're going along, taking these worker placement spots. They're giving you skills to level up. And you're progressing through this story, and either you lose by those things I mentioned you lose with, or you make it to the end and you win. Now, that would be all said and good, but there's another awesome thing about this game I've yet to talk about. Everybody starts with their own player sheet, and the player sheet is kind of like, I guess, think of it like you fold it in half, so it's like a little book. And it's unique to you. Yeah, like a little pamphlet, unique to you. So I have one and Natalie has one when we were playing a 2-player game, and they're different. So they have stories in them for your character. You name your character, and then when you open it up, there's your pirate. So yeah, you can see here. So there's the seeker pirate, the orphan pirate, and you can see they have like a constellation. That constellation is how you win the game. So you're kind of crossing stuff off. On the bottom there, exploration, brawn, hunting, aim, swagger, navigation, those are skills. Once you level those skills up and you cross them off. So, I'd take a worker placement spot and it says, okay, you get exploration +1. That means you cross off the first exploration star right there. When you cross off a star, you get to circle in one of those circles on your constellation. If you ever get to one of the exclamation points on that constellation, then you get a story moment in your pamphlet. So I don't know if you can find a picture, Jeff. You might not be able to. This is the pamphlet closed. Yeah, you might not be able to because it might be a little bit of a spoiler. If you can't, that's fine. I'll tell you exactly I won't tell you exactly what it is, but if you open your pamphlet, there's 5 questions. And these questions, you're putting your answers in a Mad Libs format. It's so cool. So it'll say, like, think of a large animal, and then you write one, and then it'll be like, think of something that's collectible, that's, and so you write in something like that. And then when you cross off those exclamation points throughout the gameplay on that constellation, you go and you read from your pamphlet a little story. And the story uses those Mad Libs you wrote in the beginning of the game throughout the story. And it's so funny,
It is funny
and cool, and just a really interesting way to do that. And it's so awesome. So the game is 100% experiential and story-driven, and the mechanisms are fun. It's worker placement. So, but, manipulating the supplies track and the bosun track and, that stuff, that's not the fun of the game. Like a lot of games, like we'll talk about in a little bit, but like playing Bruges or Teotihuacan, the fun of the game is manipulating the mechanisms, right? This game, the fun of the game is experiencing the story and the whimsy. I've never seen a game like this before where you're writing a Mad Lib and using the Mad Lib throughout the game. And that's part of the experience, and it's just so fun. And like a game like King's Dilemma, you have to balance, because this is cooperative, but you can still lose. So you have to balance what's best for you versus what's best for the group. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So first off, things I loved about it. I absolutely loved the fact that if you're playing with the app, it reads everything for you.
That's cool.
And the way it does it, dude, it is like...
He's like, I don't have to read.
Yeah, I don't have to
awesome.
read. I like being the one to read. I love that. But I find that when I'm the one to read, I don't pay attention to myself. You know what I mean? So I miss stuff, and then it's boring for me. But the voice acting is beautiful. It's like so well done. And every single story point you ever have, the app reads it all. In Mansions of Madness, it only reads the beginning and the end, right? Nothing else is read to you. You have to read everything else yourself. Yeah. In this game, everything is read to you or voiced to you. And so you get to sit back and listen to the story, and then you make decisions to react to it, right? And oh my gosh, that is so fun. Just that alone, that player pamphlet, it's so great because it's different every single game. And the game comes with a bunch of them, and if you run out, you can download more from Plaid Hat's website, and so they just won't ever be the same. And that's really cool. And it's also really, really, really awesome how the game looks. I mean, it's Plaid Hat. So if you know Plaid Hat, the components are off the charts, right? The artwork is gorgeous. This is the best pirate-themed game I've ever played. I think it's going to,
I would say that without even playing the game, it's probably going to be the best pirate-themed game I've ever played.
Yeah.
There are not many pirate-themed games that get me going.
Do it. And why is that? Isn't that weird? It's
I have no idea.
Theme.
But this one has since people have gotten it, I've seen people post on it. It just looks like something I would really enjoy.
Dude, this is a game.
But sorry to interrupt. Keep
no,
going.
you're good. This is a game we could play online together.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we could. We need to do it. Like we could play it with you, with Donkey Kong, with
Episode
Boardgame.
over.
Yeah, because 7 people can play.
Because 7 people can play, and so all you need is a D12. That's all you would need, and then a printer. If you have a printer, because you have to print off a player sheet. So if you have those 2 things, that's all you need to play. And then I'll have a camera pointed at my board, and then we just make decisions as a group together and do it that way. Because you can still hear all the app stuff happening on my computer that can come through you. All right. So I love the voice acting. I love the story being read to me. I love the component quality. I love the decisions that you have to make. The fact that you cannot look at what the actions you're taking specifically do makes this tense, kind of like thrilling, kind of like worker placement engagement. At first you think like, what the hell? I need to know what this is, but you don't, because they have icons that kind of tell you what might happen. And so you make your decisions based on that. And if you don't do it in time, you start to lose things. I think your discontent goes up if the timer runs out. I don't remember because that never happened to us because we kind of cheated. But the experience of this game is everything. If you don't like experiential games, narrative-driven games at all, if you only are about the mechanisms and the cerebralness of the game, this is not the game for you. That's not to say the mechanisms are not fun, because they are. It's a well-done, well-designed game. But as a package, it's one of the... I can see it becoming one of my favorite games. The only problem with it so far is the timing. 4 hours is a long time. I mean, I'm sure we can get that down. I'm sure we can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we split it up over 2 nights, but like I felt like we could have. We were having so much fun that we were like, let's just keep going. But we didn't. But
it's actually funny, like the game is actually funny.
Yes. It is.
It's hard. That's a hard thing to do in a board game.
Yeah, you were like laughing a lot.
I was cracking up a lot of the time. Yeah. So things I didn't like about it, that the time is one of them. The mechanisms can feel a little bit samey after a while. You're playing for 4 hours. You're doing the exact same thing. You're moving your boat. You're finding a tile. That tile is going to lead you to a story point in the book, and you're putting your workers out on these worker placement spots. There's not many surprises mechanisms wise, and then the worker placement spots are more or less the same so far in our first playthrough, which we went through a lot of different pages. They're more or less the same. You go to one spot and it's like, okay, choose between these 3 things, which is fun because you get to decide like, what do we need right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
roll a die, do a check. Yeah, so I'm not trying to cut you off. No. Roll a die, do a check, and then depending on what you rolled, you get more or less options. And it's fun, but after a while I can see the mechanisms getting a little bit... So the story needs to carry this one. And so far, for us, it has. So I loved it. I'd rate it a 9, I think, after that first thing. So what do you think? What do you think, Natalie?
I loved it, too. It was really fun. I felt like we've tried other games that were... kind of similar to this, and none of them just ever hit. We were always disappointed, and this one, it hit hard. like you said, it has it all. It has the app in it, which I love apps in games. The character pamphlet is so fun. We were like cracking up. Like my character specifically, the stuff it was saying was so funny. And then add in my Mad Lib words, it was like hilarious.
Yeah, we found out things about her character's sexual orientation halfway through, and it was like, what?
And my character awesome. Hated pirates, and then and he became a pirate, and it was really funny. And then trying to decide, the decision part, like trying to decide how to help yourself and help the crew at the same time, or sometimes having to decide between the two of those things was really fun and interesting, because you're trying to fill in that constellation, especially towards the end, but you're also trying not to die, and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, that's a great point, if I can stop you for 1 second. So to win the game, you have to not lose by those parameters I talked about earlier, but to actually win, you have to complete 4 of those 5 exclamation points. You have to cross those off in your constellation, and if you don't do that, you lose. Other players can still win, right? So the thing is, in a 2-player game especially, anytime you go up a skill to cross off another thing on your constellation, you lose resources. And so there's times where it's selfish of you to make the group lose these resources that you need for something else, just so you can make sure that you get these things filled off. And it's kind of like King's Dilemma in that way, Jeff, if you can think about it, where the whole group's like, what are you doing? Wait a minute, you're going to lose this resource just so you can get a thing. And you're like, ha ha ha, I need So if Bill played this, he wouldn't care about anyone until he's good, and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I mean, I know this could change once we play it more, but the unknown was cool. Like choosing to do something and having no idea what will happen, like such as moving your ship onto an island and you type in the number of the island and you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Could be the Kraken.
Yeah, that was really fun. It reminds me of Mansion of Madness a little bit, but I like this theme better, and I like how it feels like there are more decisions and more personal touches in it.
That's a pretty big point in its favor right there, because we love Mansions of Madness around here.
Yeah, but this just had more to it. Like when I play Mansions of Madness, like recently we played the first scenario, and I've played that a few times already, and I just kind of felt a little bit bored, you know. And you know how I feel about those games in general. Like, you're just moving and exploring and fighting, and that's like it. But this, I felt like there was so much more to it than just that stuff. You know, you're trying to sail, get these missions, and then once you hit the first mission, you have another mission. You don't even really know when it's going to end. Like, when is this mission over? Like, are we still going to be going for a while, or did we complete it? I don't know. And like you said, the worker placement actions were kind of similar after a while, but also necessary. You know, you still had to. I guess it made it exciting when you need more supplies, or you need more to move things up on the track, and you're, for me, for example, rolled 4 ones in a row, used up all my reroll
we get
tokens,
the killer
rolling
now, Jeff.
ones.
Yep.
You know, like stuff like that, and you're like, no.
That was so unlucky. On a D12, I was like, what are the odds? She rolled 1. No, you rolled 3 ones and then a 2.
Yeah.
She rolled 1, and then she re-rolled. She's like, I'll re-roll. And then 1. She's like, are you kidding me? She's like, well, I have another re-roll token. She re-rolls it. 1. And then she's like, I'll use a different die. And then she re-rolls it. 2.
I know, that was terrible.
It was so bad.
But, you know, stuff like that where you're, and when you're marking off your, what are they, like the navigation, and what is that called?
Yeah, your skills.
Your skills, that helps you towards the end of the game, because that just gives you additional, you know,
when you cross
points.
a skill off on that sheet,
It's like a permanent.
it gives you so usually when you upgrade a skill, you immediately then roll a check in that skill. So for instance, it'll say exploration +1. So you check off exploration. Then it says make an exploration check. Whenever you make a check, you roll a D12, and then you add to that number. Say I roll a 7. You add to that 7 any check marks you've made on your. You know, so you just got one more. So say that was my first exploration check mark. I add that 1 to the 7 I rolled, 8.
Right.
And then you look at any treasure cards you might have, and there might be bonuses there. So you're adding all that together to then give you the final result.
Right, like towards the end, there's points where for certain skills, I had 8 before I even rolled a die.
Right.
You know,
this is Forgotten Waters. We're talking about Forgotten Waters.
But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I loved every part of it. Even, I mean, like, in most of these narrative games, usually the text, like in Clank even, like we're like, yeah, we don't care about like the story that much. It's kind of boring.
It is
and
boring.
like in this one, I'd say that was like the worst part of it, but it wasn't even that bad. Like we said, there was a lot of funny parts that made us laugh in the narrative, and it reads it for you, so someone's not just sitting there reading a book.
And it reads it for you well.
Yes.
The voice acting is great.
So overall, I loved it. I want to play it again. I want to play all the scenarios.
Yeah, me too. That's
really bad.
So that's Forgotten Waters, guys. Jeff, I think we should play this with you.
Yes,
online.
I think you'd really.
I think it would be so fun. I think Donkey Kong and Deepwater Joe would love this as well. I think we should organize a group of us
AKA
and
your
do
brothers.
this. Yeah.
So
yeah, that'd be cool. It sounds great.
Yeah,
and it sounds like even for like your like complaint of that. You know, the things start like worker placement stuff kind of feels the same, but that's not like the game. The game isn't. You wouldn't call Forgotten Waters a worker placement game, right?
No,
it was in a storytelling like that.
No, you call it a narrative-driven exploration.
Yeah, it seems really great.
Adventure game. Yeah, it's super fun.
Plus,
you'd love it.
When we played the 2-player variant, and so it might be a little bit different in the worker placement area when we play with more people, because in a 2-player game we each had 3 characters or workers, and I think in anything more than a 2-player game we each only have 1, so it won't be like we're doing the same thing over and over again, because each time we had 3 different workers to do. So great
game. Forgotten Waters. If you have a chance to play it and you in any way like experiential type narrative driven games, this is a special one.
Special.
So what you got, Jeff? What you got, man?
I played the Hotness from 2014. If you believe that.
I've heard of that.
I played a game called Orléans.
Orléans.
And I feel like you can't say that game without having just a little bit of like
an accent.
Yeah, and you kind of like sound like a D-bag.
Yeah, like playing Orléans.
Yeah, when I say it, I'm like Orléans.
I feel like a D-bag when I say it.
So I took a chance and got. I've played this game once before. This most recent play, and I took a chance. I was like, okay, maybe Devin will like this. Let's get it Devin being my wife again and being very
50-50
not quite
I
sure.
remember, I
she's
think I
gonna like
taught
it.
you this back at Nerdfest like 2015, or maybe even that year. It was very
whatever it was. I remember. Yes, that's where I played it with Bill, and I'm not sure we played it with 4 people, but
yeah, it was the max because I remember I couldn't play because I just taught it, and so we had everybody playing.
So what Orleans is published by TMG, which so right off the bat you know it's gonna be good quality. The art is great, and so it's a bag building game. So if you've ever played a bag building game, think of if you've never played a bag building game, think of like a deck builder where you add cards to your deck. This is like a bag builder. You're taking these tokens and you're adding them to your bag, and then they're going to randomly come up. So it's a bag building game. Players are gathering followers and using the abilities of the followers to expand their presence in the area of Loire in France. Did you know that?
No, I did not remember
I looked it up.
Okay.
Because you start, so the city that you start in the middle is Orléans, and then everything around is the river of the Loire area. In France. So anyway, the followers that you're adding to your bag are farmers and traders and boatsmen, knights, craftsmen, and all these different people. And at the beginning of a round, players are drawing a certain number of followers from your bag, and you're adding them to your individual player board. If you're watching the video, you can see the individual player board, and you take those tokens, and as you add them to the different spots, you have a variety of actions that you take on your board. So each action might take 2 or 3 of the certain followers, and once you've placed them all, then players go back and forth around taking actions that you have completely filled up. Most of the actions are gaining followers, so which includes like, all right, I'm going to add these 3 followers to the board so I can get another knight, and you add then another knight to your bag. Or you can get any other followers and you add them to your bag. So then in future turns, you have more people to draw from and a different variety. And other actions that you can do are moving around the main board. So moving around the area of Loire. And as you move, so the biggest actions are moving along water, moving along just the wagon route, or building. So you're moving, building, or adding new followers to your bag. And each of the followers, whenever you add something to your bag, whenever you add a follower, it comes with like a little bonus. So, for example, if you add a knight to your bag, you actually then next round get to draw more followers out of your bag. Or if you add a boatsman, you get some money. If you add I think it's a craftsman, will allow you to build a new building that you can add to your own specific city. So then you're the only one that can do this cool action. There's these monks that are kind of wild, so you can place them wherever you want on the board. And play continues like that with people drawing out of the bags and then taking the actions on your board. Play continues. It seems like a long time. It's like 18 rounds.
Yep.
Each round has a different event. Some are good, some are bad. And then at the end, you calculate score. And for what looks, if you're looking at pictures or if you've seen the game, what looks like there's a lot of stuff going on, the scoring is very simple. And you get points for money, you get points for goods, and you get points for having houses or buildings on that map times your influence level, which is at the bottom of the track, or the development level. And so there's not like, oh, let me do this track, you get points for this track and this track and this track and this track. No, it's very concise for scoring. And I have to say, playing it 2 nights ago, whenever I played it, it was awesome. It was amazing again. I remember liking it when we played it at Nerdfest, but again, it's hard to remember 5 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
But I remember liking it in the moment. I remember Bill like cornered me or something weird happened where I couldn't like finish my last couple turns effectively. But playing it with Devin, it was great. And the better part is that Devin really, really liked it.
Yay!
I asked her like halfway through, and I was like, "What do you think?" She looked
scared.
at me and she was like, I really like it.
Was it clicking for her? Was she just getting it? So, I mean, that's a big reason why. And you said she won, right? So that's another
she
big
like
reason
destroyed me. Yeah. And I don't know if when the last time you guys have played it, but you essentially, as you move up different tracks and you fill up that beneficial deeds board, you get those little people.
Yep.
And you want to collect those people.
Because
she was just like,
she was killing it.
She was just like cleaning.
You can multiply your score by a ton there.
Yeah,
that's what multiplies it, right?
So she was rolling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I midway through was playing. I was happy that I could tell she knew exactly what she was doing. She had plans, and it clicked for her. And she even like what was cool is she even like talked about the next day, which is kind of cool. It doesn't usually happen. I even asked her, I'm like, well, she just like asked, I don't remember what she asked about the game, but it was something else.
Maybe you think that she was thinking about it still.
Yeah.
And you don't even have the Geek Up bits, right?
No.
Wait till you get done with things. Ooh,
yeah. So I want to get those, but I also, if you don't want to get them, the cardboard is good. It's like thicker cardboard. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
it's definitely better than like the Quacks.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But
yeah, I do want the Geek
dude,
Up.
it's so that's what we did last time. We played it about a month or maybe 2 months ago. We played it. Might have been longer ago. Wasn't that
Or like a
long.
year ago.
No, gosh, it wasn't a year ago. No, it wasn't.
Yes.
We'll check your playlist.
I don't even.
I will. I'm going to check right now.
Yeah, check it.
All right, I'm going to check it.
A month or two ago.
You talk, and I'm going to check it. It wasn't a month.
100% not this year.
I will concede it was probably longer ago than a month or two. But it was not a year ago. No freaking way.
Natalie says before this year. She says 2019. So she's going with 5 months ago. 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, okay. 4 or 5 months ago, I'm okay.
Maybe
I
last
could
summer.
See. But there is no way in holy matrimony. I was going to say no, but okay.
I'm ready
That
for
is
it.
really cool that Devin liked it. She's like
I'm
a
happy.
gamer now.
There was even a moment I said something when she said something about it the next day that I said, we can...
Shut your mouth.
Wait.
Shut your mouth. No, shut your mouth.
March 6th.
I just forgot to record
2019.
No, I just forgot to record
over
it.
a year ago.
No, I just forgot to record it.
Yeah, right.
He's so bad with that stuff. He's like, yeah, it was like 2 days ago. I'm like, it was like 4 years ago.
4 years.
I'm just bad with
But this is a perfect
Okay.
example.
No.
Yeah.
I must not have recorded it.
I've only played it once.
And it was March of 2019. Maybe he put it in as like March of... maybe it was 2020.
It
He
was.
just didn't
It was March of
remember.
2020.
Yeah,
It was
of
a month ago. I just put
Yeah,
the date in wrong.
Oh my god.
Put the year in wrong. You clicked the calendar back. Too many months.
Orleans great.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have about Orleans, and it's only one, and I remember I've had it pretty much every time I play. I really wish the goods did something else other than just points. They're just points. They don't even have to be goods. At the end of the game, it's just like, the cloth is 5 points, the whatever's 4 points, and that's the only thing it is. And it kind of, I feel like they missed something there. And maybe this is addressed in expansions. I have all the expansions. We haven't played them yet. One of them is a fully cooperative expansion, Jeff. So you can, I don't know if Devin is into cooperative games. More or less, I don't know. But I've heard it's amazing. And so I really wish they did something else with the goods. There's all those tiles.
I do believe in one of the expansions. Again, I haven't played the expansion or don't own them, but I think that there is a contract sort of thing with the goods. That you can
I'm
turn
surprised
those
there
into.
wasn't in the base game. You know what I mean? Because there's so many of those contract tiles. I'm really surprised that not one of them made use of goods. Because other than that, they don't even have to be goods. They could just be here's a 5, here's a 4, here's a 3.
You do have to. Yeah, you have to have them for some events, some harvesting phases.
Yeah, you give one away, but. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, thematically, it's better to have bread and cheese and wine, but
Sure.
and cloth. But
Yeah.
I remember every single time at both games. I think I played 3 or 4 times now. Every game, I'm like, that's a little bit of a letdown. I really wish that they were just not just points.
Yeah, I think, and I wouldn't quote me, not that anyone's listening, but I think that one of the expansions has like a contract thing where you're turning those, you can turn those things for points or to fulfill a
or make some.
contract.
Yeah, if you have more, if you have 5 of these, you can get this instead of using them for points. Yeah, that would be cool.
The only and I don't have, this isn't really a complaint, but it can be frustrating when you don't pull anything you want.
Yes.
But that's the game. Like the game is. There is some chance, there's some luck in pulling these things, but you're also, I want to make sure I get 5 nights in my bag so I can travel and pull these things out. Because it's not just complete random. It's not like pick a number and roll it. It's, you are creating your own bag.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
awesome.
Yeah.
You're making me want to put it on our play again list. Because I only played it once.
We just played it like a month ago, so I don't know.
Just 1 month ago. And I even said something to Devin just recently. When she said something, I was like, we could play it again next week. And she didn't say no.
Oh, it is a good game to play back to back. If you can get the expansion,
then you don't have to relearn the rules.
But I've just heard that the cooperative expansion is amazing.
That's cool.
Okay, I'm gonna look into the expansions and get the geek bits.
I have them all too. We just haven't played with any of them yet.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Cool. So that's Orleans. What would you rate that game if you had to give it an arbitrary nothing meaningless rating?
I would say based on just that last play, and also it has to go up a little bit because Devin liked it and it'll see the table more. I would put it like 8.5, 9. I loved it.
That's
I had a
awesome.
blast.
That's super cool.
Orleans.
Orleans. So we also played a Stefan Feld condom game.
Ooh, yeah.
This has been on my shelf. I've played it before a long time ago. I think I played it with the old group. I don't think you played it, Jeff, or maybe you did. I know I played it with Bill, and this is Bruges. This is Stefan Feld Bruges.
I have played Bruges with you.
Okay, so then that you played it with Bruggies.
Bruges.
Bruges.
Last was Orleans.
Yeah, Orleans.
And this is Bruggies.
Bruggies.
So this was out of print for a long time. Came back into print a year or two ago, which, if you know my timing, probably means 6 or 7 years ago. And this is a game, like I said, by Stefan Feld. So in this game, it's a card-driven game. So the cool thing about this, like every other damn Euro game, the goal is to have the most victory points at the end. The way you do it in this game is you have multi-use cards. Each card can do 6 or 7 different things. You can see all the cards on the table. That's actually a really cool shot. Every card is the same. It's got a person, and that if you use it as a person, it gives you a benefit the whole game. You can use it as a house. You can't put a person on the table unless you have another card already built as a house, which is just the back. And then every card has the same 5 things on it that you could also use it for. Like, you could turn it in to get money. You could turn it in to get workers. You could turn it into, like I said, turn it into a house, turn it into a person, or turn it into get money from a dice. And
or build a river.
Yeah, or use your river thing. So you can see on the right side of the card there, they're all the same. They're different colors. So there's 5 different colors in the game. And essentially what you're doing on your turn, it's so simple. At the beginning of every turn, all you do is you roll all the dice, and you count up the 1s and 2s on the dice you roll, and that is the cost that it will cost you to move your worker. You can see on the top board that Jeff's got up there, there's that little track there where all those meeples are on. And you move up that track, you get a chance to move up 1 spot on that track every round by totaling up the 1s and 2s, and that's how much it costs to move 1 step. So in this example of this picture, it would cost every player $2 to move 1 step up on that track. And what that track does is it determines a couple things. It determines... does it determine player order? I can't remember that, honestly. But it gives you points at the end of the game for how high up you are on it. Also, there's a majority scoring tile that it gives you. That's a better shot right there.
I think turn order is back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's right. I think it's just you can, if you're highest on that track at the end of the round, you get a majority bonus.
Right.
And at the end of the game, that will score you victory points. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 12. Those are victory points you'll get at the end of the game, depending on where you are on that track. So if you have to manage your money because you don't know what you're going to roll. So you're hoping you'll roll like a 1 or a 2, and so it'll only cost you $1 or like $3 to move on that track. But sometimes you can get a bad roll where you roll 4 2s, and so now it's $8 to move 1 step. And if I have no money, I can't move up on that step. If Natalie has $20, that she saved over, she can do that. Now she's ahead of me and she'll get that bonus. And so that's the first thing you can do. So then after that, everybody just plays 4 cards, and you're going to go back and forth playing 4 of the 5 cards from your hand. You might have more cards in your hand depending on what you've done earlier. And, I'm sorry, actually before that, any 5s and 6s that are rolled on those dice, give you these, what are they called, Natalie? The plague tokens, I think.
Right.
Or threat tokens.
Yeah, threat.
From the middle of the board. You can see they're kind of like pie-shaped in that picture that Jess got right now. So you get a token of that color. So you can see on this example here, there's a red 6 and a purple 6. You take every player would then take 1 red pie slice and 1 purple pie slice. If that is your 3rd pie slice that you've taken, then an event happens to you, and it's always bad. So for instance, if you get the purple one, I don't remember exactly what the purple one is, but I'm just going to give you an example. If you get your 3rd purple pie slice, you then trade all those purple pie slices in, and you have to get rid of all your money. Or you have to get rid of all your workers. Right. Or you lose a spot on the river.
Or you lose 3 points.
Or you lose 3 points. Yeah, I think that's what purple is. I think you just lose 3 points for purple. It's always bad. So how to mitigate that is when you're playing cards to your... on the playing cards spot of your turn, one of the things you can do is play a card of a color to get rid of 1 threat token of a color. Does that make sense? So there's a million different things you can do with your cards, and this is what the coolest part of the game is, because you want to do everything. Yeah. You need to do everything on your turn. You need to play a guy. You have a card in your hand and it's blue, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to play this guy because his ability is so awesome for me, and it's going to help me the rest of the game. But you have 2 blue pie slices in front of you, which means if you roll a 5 or a 6 on the next round, you're going to get your third blue pie slice, and that's going to take all your workers away. So you can't do that. So now you got to use, you're like, oh, I got to use this blue card to get rid of a pie slice. But that's the only blue card in my hand, and I really need his ability. You also want to get that blue card because you can play these things on this river, these tokens on the river, and you can only play them on the river based on what color they are. And so, like, if the next line that you want to play a river token on is blue, that's now 3 things you need to decide what to do with that one blue card. And it creates these really tense decisions. And I feel like every turn you're like, what decision do I make? And I might be making it sound really complex, but it's not. It's super light. Or it's lighter than you might think, I'll say. It's a lot lighter and it's a lot faster than you might think. In a 2-player game, I mean, did it take an hour with rules? It was fast.
I don't remember.
It was to the point where we were both kind of like, maybe we should just play this again, like right now. It was really good.
Yeah.
And so that's Bruges. I really enjoy that game. It's a really, if you're looking for a game to play with, I think it's 2 to 4 players, and you don't have a ton of time, because it's quick, but you want something that's got a little bit of crunch to it, Bruges is a great game to choose. Because, like I said, it gives you that feeling of like you're playing a nice Euro game, a nice strategic Euro game, but it's over kind of lickety split. So,
I like multi-use cards in games.
Yeah,
like La Granja.
Yeah, La Granja. Yeah, it's similar to that.
Lagranges.
Except you don't put it in the player board, which is so cool for La Granja. This one, you're just playing them in front of you or discarding them. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I loved the weight of it. It was like you said, it was kind of like simple, but the decisions weren't simple, but I don't know, it just didn't feel heavy. It felt like that perfect weight. Like you said, the multi-use cards is really fun. I like games where, this is what you have and you have to figure out the best thing to do with what you have. And I really enjoy games that force you to do that. And so this is all that game was. You get what you get, and now you're like...
You get what you get, you don't throw a fit.
Yeah. But now you're like, what do I do? Like, I want to do... Like you said, like, I want to do this, and I want to do this, but I only have one of these cards. Like, what's the best thing to do with it? And hope I get, like, one of this color card in the next round. And, yeah, I really enjoyed it, too. I told him I would play this game over and over again.
Very good Stefan Feld game. That's Bruges. Cool. Natalie has now played, I think, 4 Stefan Feld games. Trajan, Castles of Burgundy, Carpe Diem, and Bruges. Yeah. I think those are the only ones that Natalie's played. I can't think of any other one that I've played with her. Natalie, where do you put Bruges in those games?
We talked about this. It's funny. I really like all 4 of those games. So, like, even if I put them in order, it doesn't mean that I don't like them.
Is he becoming your boy?
He might be your boy.
Might be. I love Castle Burgundy. I really like Trajan, which we also played since the last podcast.
Trajan is so awesome.
I know, it's so fun. I'd say maybe like Castle Burgundy, Trajan, then Bruges, then Carpe Diem, but I love Carpe Diem, so I like all of them. It's just if I had to put them in an order, that's what I'd have to do. But yes, and I knocked off some of my resolutions. By playing games that we already played, or games we played once, because in the last couple weeks we played Trajan and Teotihuacan.
Yep.
So just want to throw that out.
Yeah, we won't hit those, I don't think, probably this episode, but we might talk about that a little bit next episode. We've heard about that.
I just wanted to say it's April and I'm still going for it.
You're doing it.
In the interest of gaming resolutions, I also have met with Emily Petersmark. She's the one doing the artwork for my game, and so that resolution's going on with me. I'm marching forward. Yay. We have a plan, her and I, to get... we're going to play the game through Zoom, and she's going to get a feel for stuff and know how to draw stuff. So sooner than later, I'll share some of the artwork that I've gotten already with you guys. It is so amazing.
It's really good.
It's so amazing. She's so talented.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Bruges, and we love that one. What else you got, Jeff?
I got some silly games, some fun games.
We like silly games.
I want to talk about. So those were some serious games. Those were like gamer games. Yeah. So we want to talk about something silly. So I bought this game on sort of a whim. I remember seeing it on someone's Instagram a while ago, like anywhere from a day ago to 2 years.
Sure.
Now, depending on Ryan's scale of timing. And so this game is called Flying Sushi Kitchen. And Flying Sushi Kitchen is not a game that you can find in really any lots of places. You can. So I ordered it on Amazon, and it was I added it to my list, and occasionally it would go out of print. Probably not out of print. Probably just not having it, and then it would come back, and when it came back, it was like $12. So I bought it for $12.99, and I pretty much spent the same on the game as I did on the 4C batteries that this game has to go with.
Yeah,
I need you to So if you're watching the video, you can see it very clearly. But if you're not, I need you to imagine like just a base, like a plastic base, and you take these bamboo pipes and you add them to the plastic base. So there's like 5, I think, plastic bamboos that are sticking out of this base, and the base can turn on. And as it turns on, there's air that shoots through these bamboo pipes, and you put these tiny what I can only kind of describe as like styrofoam ping pong balls, and you put them on the pipes, and the balls are essentially floating in the air. And on your turn, you take these chopsticks and you have to grab the ping pong balls or the styrofoam balls out of the air and add them to your tray to fulfill an order.
But they're constantly wiggling around.
And they're constantly wiggling and moving. And it creates some really, really, really hilarious moments of how can you not grab this thing with chopsticks that's just right there?
It's
just sitting right there. Just grab it. And it's just moving just slightly enough that you just can't grab it. I feel like Daniel's son trying to grab like a fly.
Yeah.
And it was, Devin and I were like laughing at each other. It's like 9 o'clock at night and we're laughing at each other playing this game.
Yeah.
And we're like chasing these little styrofoam sushi balls around. It was really fun. And then Ryan bought it.
Yep. We saw your video.
We're like, what is that?
Well, I had seen it before, but for some reason I thought the video I saw was that video, but like in Japan. So I was just like, okay, this looks awesome. And then I saw Jeff had it, and I was like, okay, we gotta get this. It looks great. And dude, that video, you got some skills there, man,
it's hard.
because it is not
easy.
I figured out a way. If I come at it from the top, like top down, it's much simpler than going horizontal.
Yeah.
And you were looking like you were doing that kind of 3/4 top down thing, and you were nailing it. Yeah, I agree with you. You don't want to come above it, and lift it off.
Like cheating.
That's kind of cheating. It is really funny and really difficult, and it was really cheap on Amazon. And I don't know if they're running that deal all the time, but it's normally like $25, so it's super cheap. It's got a humongous box, and
huge box.
But it's kind of like a display game. I almost feel like you could just leave it set up, on a shelf, and it's just really cool. So I can't wait to share it with the kids and see what they think.
Yeah, it was really funny. So I got one more. I'll talk about this game called Barrier Battles.
Ooh,
and I have to give a quick shout out to the designers because I think one of the cool things about this game is the story. Of who designed it. So they were nice enough to gift it to me so I could play it, and I reviewed it on Instagram and talking about it here. But it's designed by 2 high school students, Kyle and Bobby. And what's great is Kyle and Bobby came up with the idea. They 3D printed blocks. They created this like prototype. They worked with a company in China to mass produce the game, and they've been selling it themselves for the last 4 months, 4 or 5 months. How cool is that?
They're making
that's
us look
really
stupid.
cool.
Yeah, and they're hosting, they're hosting these like tournaments, and they're going from game store to game store, and they're contacting people to put the game out there. So they're doing a really cool job. All I did was sit around and play Halo when I was in high school.
You're right.
Yeah, good
exactly. Like Halo and poker. Like they're making board games.
And what this is, if you're checking out the video, is it's a dexterity game. So you are flicking these tiny battle discs at each other's fortresses. So the game begins, and you get time to set up a fortress or like a barrier that protects this one disc of yours. So you want to protect that one. So if you're looking at the picture, either the purple one or the orange one, and you want to protect it. So you get a certain amount of time. So I build mine, and then once I say I'm done, you have a minute to finish yours. And then you go back and forth, and you're flicking the other discs. You can also flick the king or the main one. You're flicking them at each other's barriers to try to knock out the other discs, and you win if you hit the king.
That's so simple.
It's such a simple game. And what's great is, so it plays 2 people, but Kyle and Bobby told me that if you buy another copy, you can play with 4.
Oh, makes sense.
You can also buy another copy and play with teams. So like the red team versus the blue team.
Wait, you talked to the kids?
Yeah. Aww. Yeah. I just messaged them on Instagram.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was fun. Devin and I played it, 3 times in a row. We just like played it in 5 minutes and then said like rack it up again and play it again. It's cool. I'm really, really excited for my students to play it. I think they're really going to have fun like attacking each other with the game.
It's cool that you build your own like barrier.
Yeah.
You know, so you can like change it up every time. Like, that didn't work. Let me try this.
Yeah, you can even like put your king on top of something, so it's like maybe protected up top. And and you could, so just to give them where you can buy it. If you're interested, they're at Barrier Battles on Instagram. They have barrierbattles.com. You could buy it directly from them. I think it's like $20.
Yeah, this might be something I pick up.
Yeah,
I think the kids would love
awesome.
this. Yeah, dexterity for the kids it's a concept. It's so easy. Just hit my king or whatever it is.
And the
idea
like
that you're all
support them too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I would. Yeah. I see myself buying another copy of that game, at least one more.
Yeah.
When my students play it and like it, and I think it's also kind of cool for Ryan, for your kids to like. I need you to build a structure that protects this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're constructing something and then attacking. So it's like there's a little bit of like engineering, I think, behind it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that stuff. It made me think of Animal Crossing. You know, Ryan and his kids have been playing Animal Crossing a lot, and sometimes I feel like they're learning more from Animal Crossing than like the assignments they're getting at school.
Well, because they read and
they're reading, they're learning about
wildlife.
all these different bugs, fish, whatever. They have like loans
bones
on their houses and have to pay them off. They have to purchase things, you know, so they have
They're
to
more
earn
of an adult
money.
than I am.
Yeah.
So they have to earn money to be able to purchase things or pay for their loan. And I'm like, wow, this is like...
Yeah, it's like a lot of
cool.
really base level
I mean, they're in
concepts
kindergarten and
for real
second
life.
grade. They would have never learned the concept of a loan for years to come. You know,
Right.
like I think that's so cool.
So yeah, that's Barrier Battles and Flying Sushi Kitchen.
Awesome.
I think you
Nice.
should. They're fun games. I think it's great to break up some of the heavy games you're playing.
Sounds like
It's
good
great
family
to
games too.
Yeah, you know, you can play Barrier Battles out on well, probably not Flying Sushi Kitchen because it's wind, but you could play Barrier Battles outside on like a patio.
Yeah.
So
You got a
check
Florida
them out.
room, you
They're
can play it outside.
yeah.
Florida.
So check those out. They're fun games.
Awesome. So those are some games we've been playing. Now
Yeah.
I have something. I need you to
What?
control this,
What?
and I will be right back.
What's
Oh
happening?
my gosh. We're gonna edit this out, or Natalie and I have to hold the show down. So now that Ryan's gone, what do you want to talk about, Ryan?
He's grabbing the guitar.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Well, the show's over.
What is happening?
We'll still be on at 2 a.m.
Am I supposed to do something with the mouse?
See, I'll need you to scroll through. So don't read yet, but go ahead and scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Stop right there. Okay.
He wrote a song.
So, in one of our Instagram live sessions, I grabbed my guitar and I was just goofing around with the guitar. And we joked about writing a board game song. Well,
When did you do this? Last night?
I did it and I hid it from Natalie. No, it was
How did I
was
not
working.
hear you?
yesterday. Hold on, let me put my headphones
During the
back in.
day?
I wrote this in like 10
Was I
minutes.
napping or something?
No, I think you were working on the Beatdown.
Oh, I was upstairs.
I came down and I even got the guitar all quiet
You know what? That's funny
I was
that you
playing it
I thought I heard you singing at one point. I thought you went to the bathroom and I was like, is he singing in there?
Singing in the bathroom, yeah.
singing it in the back. Well, I sing all the time.
I know, it didn't seem weird.
It's not that weird. Okay, all right. So this, let me walk you through a little bit of how this came to be. So I sat down and I was like, what the heck am I going to write about? Whenever I write music, I usually come up with the music part first. I'll just play like a riff that I like, and then I'll hum some tune to it, and then I'll put words to that. Well, this time I was like, I'm not going to do that totally. But for some reason, all I had in my head was American Pie. So this is written to the tune of American Pie. And then I started writing it, and it took me in places I didn't expect. So
Oh boy.
this is called The Poor Lonely Gamer. It's a tragedy.
Oh,
And it's to the tune of American Pie. Are you guys ready?
yeah.
Okay. So I'll need you to read
sure,
along
sure.
and just scroll as I
Okay.
get down. Are we ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long, long time ago, I remember Hero Quest, and playing once got me obsessed. It was really fun, and I played on and on and on for days. I don't even think I bathed, I was a mess. But then my friends looked at me sour. They told me it was time to shower. It felt so strange and so weird, but I even shaved my neck beard. So I started looking at some girls on the internet in Mom's basement world. I nearly called one, but I hurled the day my courage died. So bye this here confident guy. Thought I was a Rico Suave, turns out I'm way too shy. So I'll stay at home and kiss my love life goodbye and play board games by myself till I die. Board games by myself till I die. Did you know that Corona makes it impossible to find love? Gretchen Whitmer tells me so. But if you played games like Too Many Bones, who needs a love life when you have those? And you can even play them solo. But if COVID wasn't here, I would win. I'd plan to find a girl at the gym. I'd just go get my shoes. Oh, the virus pounds I'd lose, because I'm just a lonely, desperate, awkward guy. But I'd walk right up to her and give it a try, then accidentally spit right in her eye the day my courage died. I'd start by singing bye this here confident guy. Thought I was a Rico Suave, turns out I'm way too shy. So I'll stay at home and kiss my love life goodbye and play board games by myself till I die. Thank you. Thank you. The poor lonely gamer.
I'm like crying.
I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves.
That was awesome.
Natalie, you didn't know he wrote that? You were just like...
I have no idea.
I could just picture him like sitting in the corner being that guy, like playing,
like really
and
quiet,
writing it down. Like, ooh, that's a good one. And then
yeah. That was really good, babe.
Thanks. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Nice job, babe.
Thanks, babe.
I feel like you're going to be like
Thanks, babes.
famous now. You're writing board game songs.
Yeah. So yeah,
if only we had anybody downloading this episode.
Yeah, we'll put it on iTunes.
That's all right. No one will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wrote it yesterday, and I was like,
gosh.
I really, if I can help it, I don't want Natalie to know about it, just because I thought it'd be cool to be a surprise for everybody. I don't know.
That's
I
funny.
mean,
I liked it.
you did.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You were like 2 lines in, and I was like, oh God, oh no.
Here come the waterworks.
So talented.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
There we go. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, well, that out of the way, it is now time, glorious listeners and gamers gushing for Gamecasters, to experience the thrashing of a game in this episode's Board Game Beatdown. So in this game, in this episode's Board Game Beatdown, this is like last episode where I have no clue about anything about what we got going here. Natalie did this all by herself, and while she was doing it by herself, I was writing the board game song. So, all right,
Natalie, are you doing the beatdown to the tune of American Pie?
Nope, I will not be singing it.
Okay.
Did you know this game only has 45,000 comments?
Well, today on the Board Game Beatdown, I picked a game that Ryan and Jeff, I think, really like, called Cosmic Encounter.
Oh,
Yeah, we like that game.
we do like that game.
You got a problem with it?
What's wrong with Cosmic Encounter? Natalie, you played it.
Don't mess with Bill. That's our buddy Bill.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we met him.
Yeah.
So actually reading these, I kind of felt bad because I just thought of that sweet old man, and I was like, oh,
He was so nice, you guys. He was so.
He was
Do you remember
awesome.
him? He shook me when I told him it was my
Yeah.
favorite game. He was like, ah!
Yeah, that was so cute. Well, Cosmic Encounter has 26,000 ratings on Board Game Geek.
Wow.
And 5,400 comments. And here's a few that I found about how people don't
there
like
wasn't
it.
any mean comments. Don't lie.
The first one from BGG user Pulla, a real piece of crap. I can't believe they'd re-release something like this. Boring, random, and fuzzy rules.
Oh,
A real piece of crap.
real piece of crap. That's great.
Axel Kerrigan says, after a second play...
Wait. Axel Kerrigan?
Yeah.
Like Nancy Kerrigan?
Like Nancy Kerrigan
yeah.
doing a triple axel.
I'm surprised that the comments just not, why me? Why?
After a second play, I still hate it, but it is more of an intense taste rather than the all-consuming malice I bore it before. This game sucks.
Okay,
it's getting better.
It got better, yeah. So I can't wait for a third play.
Improved. He's still
Keep
rated
playing
at
Or
a
he
1,
just
but...
hates it. Or she.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dash Muds says, I recently had a disagreement with a friend about the quality of this game. I feel it is mediocre at best, and he really likes it. I summed up my point stating that if I was still 12, I would love this game. He replied in turn, you know what? The last time I played it, I was about 10.
Okay.
Lucky Jim says, played this recently after many years. A complete waste of time. My character was so powerful, no one could stop me winning, even when they all worked together. I guess some people call this complete lack of balance zany, but I call it shit.
Aw. Yeah, if you have a problem with balance, you don't want to play Cosmic
Yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah.
comments about the balance.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny.
I know.
The game's
You got to
fun.
know that going in,
Right,
I think, or
right.
else you're going to
Yeah.
have a bad time.
Skiveron says, I think I played a better version of this game. Can't recall it. Oh, yes. It was Munchkin.
No!
Also, why can't I give it zeros?
Boo.
What's that? I need that Michael Scott meme right now where he sees Toby.
No.
For the first time?
No.
Munchkin sucks. Cosmic Encounter's great. There was this one play of Cosmic Encounter. Jeff literally had like 90% of the deck in his hand.
Yeah.
His alien power just let him keep taking everyone's cards. And so he had any card he
I
wanted.
had the whole thing.
But that was so fun.
Right, but it's just like...
It was
yeah.
hilarious. He's
Yeah.
like, well, I get 10 more
Not
cards
serious.
somehow.
Yep.
Kreia Hyde says, no, just no. Datharor says...
Wait, what?
Datharor?
Okay.
This was not so much a cosmic encounter as it was a colonic encounter.
Oh, that's actually really funny. That's funny.
Mr. Bond says, this is mere leader bashing until someone wins due to common exhaustion.
Yeah, okay. So that
Can
is
be.
one complaint that people have that I understand, which is comparative to Munchkin, is that one player has 4 colonies. It's hard. It's really hard for them to get that 5th one because everyone's just trying to beat them up. But in this game, you can share the victory. And so that
Yes, you
really
can.
helps that, honestly. And it pisses some people off. But hey, it's part of the rules, baby. Jeff and Dave do
Yep.
it every time they play.
Yes, we do.
We play with you guys like 6 times, and they win. They win every time. But I love that. I don't feel cheapened by that at all because it's in the rules, and they do it in a way that strategically works out for them.
Yeah. There's a lot of game that has leader bashing, so that's not
Yeah.
just that game.
E. Fraser says, what a shocking letdown. I can't trust any of you BGG people again.
What do you mean you BGG
Yeah, what do
people?
you mean, you people?
Oh, my goodness. You'll like this one. Debo says, too similar to
my game,
Munchkin
punk.
for my taste.
Just like the name.
Another Munchkin.
It's my game.
But it
punk.
says too similar to Munchkin for my taste. And
Baloney.
I don't like it.
Okay, Cosmic Encounter came out worlds and years, decades even before Munchkin. So,
Yep.
if anything, Munchkin is trying to be Cosmic Encounter and failing.
B. Jans says, have played Cosmic Encounter several times, but I really don't understand what the fuzz is about. That's the second time someone said fuzz.
There's no fuzz.
The gameplay is
Fuzz.
either too random or dull, and apparently the fun is had at the negotiations, which are not referred to in any way in the rulebook. So all the fun is just based on metagame,
yeah, they are.
not the real deal. This is the game that showed me to be cautious about American game reviewers, as there seems to be some fundamental difference in gaming styles between continents.
Ooh. These pesky Americans and their games.
Okay, first of all, the negotiations are referenced in the rulebook. That's not just something you make up to meta. There's no meta about the negotiation. That is a rule.
Yeah, maybe your continent has the wrong rulebook.
You can't just you can't just trade whatever you want to separate from the rules in the game. It's a rule. You offer.
But let me get this straight. These 3 Americans have influenced now deals in the UK.
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah.
Crusaders is on sale.
I don't even know
because
what
because of-
continent this
yeah.
person's on. It didn't say, but...
That's ridiculous.
Doc Lawless one says, played one time, Lost before I even got a turn. Won't play again.
Yeah, okay. That would suck.
That would sour
that
you
can
on
happen.
it. That
would suck.
Here's what I would say to that. You probably played with too many people because this game, the expansions bring it up to 8. Never play with 8. We tried that one time. It takes it can take like 7 hours to just finish.
Yeah, just play with like 4 or 5.
And like this guy says, you can lose before your turn comes around.
That's a bummer.
And that could suck.
That would be a bummer.
The thing is, you're usually always involved because of this negotiation that's not in the rules. You get to come help out, the offense or defense. I guess if for whatever reason nobody asks you to help on the offense or defense, that could suck.
Yeah, you have bad cards.
The game is not perfect design wise, and I understand that it was designed in like 1977. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still popular and holding up today.
Yeah.
But, I can understand there's some design flaws that would not make it in a game nowadays.
Right.
Yeah. Can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the experience.
Right. Four Walls says, good way to make people hate each other.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And this is my last one. Claudio212 says, folks wanted to play this. They promised we'd be done in an hour. I was feeling magnanimous. I played it. It has so much I don't like in a game, I don't even know where to start, so I won't. The good news is that I really like the people I played with. In their company, the game was actually amusing. If it had gone on another 15 minutes, I would have been antsy. In any case, it will henceforth be held at the end of my 10-foot pole.
Anyone promising that Cosmic Encounter will be done in an hour is just mean.
Is a
well, that was
mean
like a lot of people complained about how long it took, and people complained about it being like unbalanced and chaotic and stuff like that.
All those are true. And it is one of the swingiest games in terms of time that I've ever played. I have played games that have taken like an hour and a half, but then I've played that one game. You might have been involved in this, Jeff, at Ben's house. Where
yes, I was.
It was like
that was right at the morning,
and we were just like, we got to stop. We just got to stop.
Yeah.
Or someone's going to have to king make or something.
Like you said, going into it, you have to know that it's just going to be like silly, fun, like, trying to take down the leader, negotiating, like it's not maybe it's not quite as serious of a game as
that
review
games.
got cute. Where it was like, I didn't like the game, but the people I played with was fun, and that was nice.
Yeah.
Like,
even though they lied to her, this won't take longer than an hour. What fools! You fool! Well, how do you feel now, Cosmic Encounter?
That's not so bad, Cosmic Encounter. Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Hey, you've survived a long time. It's 1977 was when you came out, so holy cow, that's a long ass time.
I didn't even look at that one. I looked at the 2008 one.
Well, it's the same game.
Okay.
I mean, it's been republished over and over again. So, well, now that we all feel better for laughing at a poor game's misfortune, it's now time to step into the festering stool that is the game of the episode. You'll be washing your shoes for days after this, everyone. So, in today's game, we're going to be playing a cooperative game, everybody. That's right. We haven't done that yet. Jeff and Natalie will be working together to guess as many games as they can to earn points to win fame and glory. 2 movies from the 1980s. So the way it's going to work, Natalie will look at a list of games that I've prepared. There's 40 games for our 40th episode. Jeff can't see these. Jeff has absolutely no clue what these games are. Natalie doesn't even have a clue what the games are until I show her the list. She's unable to say the name of the game or the designer or the publisher. So you can't say that either, okay? You can say anything else you want. Literally anything else you want, except you can't say words that appear in the title. You can't say the designer, and you can't say the publisher.
Okay.
Not that, like you said, the publisher aren't anyway. There's 40 games. I'm going to set the timer. So let me get a timer going. We're going to try 3.5 minutes.
That does not seem like enough time.
No, it doesn't.
40
games. That's the point.
Well, we should do 40 minutes for our 40th episode.
You get a minute per game. No, so you're going to...
You're not involved in this at all, except for timing us?
Yeah, I'm timing you.
Oh.
Are we ready? Or do you guys want to drop a deuce before we do it? Yes. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is, Natalie, you're going to just look at this list here. Can you see them? Again, you can say whatever you want as long as you don't say the name of the game or the designer or the publisher. Anything else to get Jeff to guess them. You can skip. If there's one you want to skip, just come back to it.
So we just say pass if we want. All right.
Yeah, just pass, and I'll put the cursor on the next one, and then I'll highlight it in some way.
Should I go in order then?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the easiest, right?
Yeah.
So 3.5 minutes. The timer starts now.
Okay, this game has like a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and you put them on top of each other to get points, and they're different colors, and we combine boxes of them to play with more people.
Pass.
Okay. This game we got at Gen Con, and it has the little dial thing, And
Wavelength?
Yes. Okay, this is like I think it's 2-player, one of the most popular war games, and we did a beatdown of it.
Twilight Struggle?
Yes. Okay, this one, I can't say this. Okay, so, yeah. Matt Damon.
A First Martian? On Mars?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one you're trying to figure out, solve a crime, and
Detective Chronicles of Crime, Sherlock Holmes?
No.
Quickly.
Okay, skip. Okay. This one we want to play on Zoom with the 4 of us.
King's Dilemma?
Yes. Okay. This one we just talked about has multi-use cards, but it's cool because you can like stick it underneath the
Bruges,
board.
Legrand?
Yeah, Legrand.
Right.
Okay. This is one of our favorite games of all time.
Castles of Burgundy?
And it's like
It's like
condom.
Trajan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Devin loves this game, and it's in the ocean.
Underwater Cities?
Yeah. I think this one is like, okay, skip. this one is super, super pretty, and you love it.
Coimbra?
No. It has animals.
Oh, God.
And the little berries.
Oh, Everdell.
Yeah. Oh, this
Okay.
one you're stacking people. And we played it at Grand Con.
Pastel.
And then, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, this one has an app in it, and it's spooky. And
Mansions of Madness?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This one we played together, the 3 of us, and we loved it. And it's kind of like a heavy game, and it's in space. And
Pulsar?
yes.
Okay.
This is like your favorite game that you guessed earlier. It has the dice. You're like,
Coimbra?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan's favorite game of all time.
God, Star of Destiny.
Yep. This game, you're trying to guess the same thing as your opponent, or say the same thing as your opponent at the same
Medium?
time. Yeah. There's a duet, and there's a pictures, and there's an after
Code
dark.
names?
Yes. Okay. Devin also really likes this one, and it's in space, and it's orange.
Terraforming Mars?
Yeah.
It's orange.
This one is skip. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Then this one is a monster game. You're trying to find where the monster is, and it's like a deduction game.
Cryptid?
Yeah. Okay. This one we played with you once, and it didn't turn out so well, and we got it at Gen Con, barely.
Black Angel?
Yeah. Okay. This one me and Ryan have played. We're halfway through it, and it's like a campaign-y type thing. And we're halfway through
Clank?
it. Yeah.
Clank Legacy?
Yeah. Okay. This one has bees.
Hive Mind.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Skip. We just got this one. We both just got this one. Ryan got it, and we have to give it to you.
What's that game called? Oh, you can't say that. I forgot what it's called.
Okay.
5 seconds.
Oh, Gates of Loyang. All right.
Yep, you got it.
The Muppets.
That's it. No, you're on this one, Natalie.
I know I skipped it.
Oh, you skipped it. Okay. All right, let's tell us the final tally. All right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
hard.
7,
That did
8,
pretty
9,
good. You
10,
did good.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. 21
Oh,
games.
just over half.
Of the 40. You
That's
got over
pretty good.
half. Halfway there. Oh, my gosh.
should've had
That was
5
hilarious.
minutes.
So, that first one, Jeff, she was
Yeah.
like, you got 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. You're stacking them on top of each other to get points. It's number 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we never got that. Sorry,
The one
not
that
my
she
brain.
was talking about with like
Solving a crime.
deception, murder in Hong
Yeah.
Kong.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
The one that she didn't spend much time on. She was like, our favorite game. It's
Yeah.
that was Terra Mystica.
Okay.
And then I don't know what it was, Underwater Cities, and then she was like, skip, and then that was Tapestry that she skipped.
Okay.
And for Gloomhaven, you should have been like, that's the number 1 game of all time
I should.
on Board Game Geek. Yeah,
I was blanking.
It's hard. On the,
you guys
on
did
the
good.
spot.
That was funny.
Went was quack. So quack.
Okay.
But she was on Lords of Vegas, so I'm like, what is
Oh,
she
okay.
doing?
5 seconds, and I was like, what's the fastest thing I can do? And I saw
Yeah.
quacks, and all I could think of was like,
Because you can't quack. You can't say quack. That's funny.
Right.
Whack,
Yeah.
whack.
Whack, 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 whack.
you're like Muppets.
Like the Muppets. Like a puppet. Muppets the game.
So you guys did well. 21
Wow.
games.
Yeah, I thought so. That was good.
That was nice. Very well done. I think we'll do that one again in the future because there was some excitement to that one.
Yeah, we can switch. Ryan can give clues, or I can give clues, or something.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
send you the list
that's
or
an easy one we can do to
Yeah.
give clues and stuff like that. So that's pretty great. So
Ooh,
with that
that took a lot
game
out of me.
the way, I'm so sorry. You can relax for just a moment until I call on you right first.
Yeah, I know. I'm like sweating.
We're going into the 5 games of the episode. So I talk about this a lot. We have historically done our top 5 games. Now we're kind of going back and forth. Sometimes we're just giving examples of 5 games that do whatever we're doing. And so this episode, we're doing 5 games that provide a visceral reaction. So what does that mean? Basically, any game that gives you a feeling emotionally, more so than cerebrally. Like, you might have a lot of fun playing a game like Teotihuacan or, Trajan or Castles of Burgundy, but typically the enjoyment's gonna come from, cerebrally thinking and working through the mechanisms. It doesn't necessarily, and this might be the way it is for you, but typically those games don't provide the emotional, visceral responses. So we have 5 games that we're going to discuss, and let's go Jeff, me, and we'll end with Natalie on this one. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, do your preamble thing.
Webster's dictionary defined visceral as my number 5 game is remember that episode? Is it the episode of The Office where he's like,
where he's defining marriage?
Yeah,
Webster's dictionary defines marriage as the fusing between 2 hot metals with a torch.
Yeah.
Well, I think you 2 are hot metals, gold metals.
Yeah. He's like,
yep, like
waits for applause.
Right, like that was hilarious.
all right, I'm gonna say I had a tough time making the list. I know Natalie did too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my number 5 game is Mansions of Madness.
Yeah,
Like when you play that game, it doesn't like get me going mentally. It's not like I gotta think through or grok through something. I just that was for you.
He said it. Thanks. Yeah, I know. Do you want to have a threesome with us? And she's like, yeah. And
he's like, oh. So yeah, that game just kind of, it's cool. Like you get that feeling and you immerse yourself into the game a lot more. So number 5 is Mansions.
That's a fantastic choice.
That is.
My number 5 was going to be Cosmic Encounter. And I decided, okay, that's one of my favorite games of all time. It's appeared on numerous lists of mine. I'm going to curve my ball. Also, you will find Star Wars Destiny does not appear on this list. We'll see. And so what I have chosen for my number 5 is a brand new game we just played called Forgotten Waters. This was really the inspiration of the list. And after that first play, it was very Mansions of Madness-y in the way I felt, because again, that app and stuff like that, the whole game is visceral. The entire game.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of I got to figure this out. There's a little bit of that, in the worker placement stuff, but it's mostly even that because you're on a timer. So even that is like there's a rush of adrenaline and
or even just
tenseness.
like picking like oh no, I rolled bad. Which one should I pick?
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's my number 5. Forgotten Waters. Natalie, what about you?
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
My number 5 is the exit games.
Nice.
Good
Because
one.
That they're timed, they are frustrating, they're hard. You're like trying to figure something out, and it's really fun, but it's really challenging, and it's like it feels like it's an emotional roller coaster.
Yes,
I
it
hate
really
this game.
does.
This is the most amazing game.
Yes, I agree with you 100% there.
Yeah, those are my next one is in that same boat. I feel like I just looked at my list. They all have a very similar theme, but anyway.
That's
so
all right.
I've lumped all these together.
I do that too.
Detective Chronicles of Crime, Sherlock, and Detective City of Angels, all as one category of that crime-solving games.
Yep.
Where I a lot of times in those games, I don't necessarily care if we get everything correct or how we score in the game. I just care about the journey and how awesome I feel. And again, it gives you those moments of like, yes, something clicked or we figured something out. What a great path we took. Just like those unlocks where you figure out a puzzle and you're like,
Right.
I'm a genius.
No,
100%.
you're right. Those games,
100%.
I agree with you. It's not about the outcome. It's about the process.
Yeah, so that's my number 4.
Very cool. My number 4 is a game that we've played when I say we, I mean me and Jeff here. We used to play. Yeah, Natalie is not a fan. Jeff and I played the stuff out of this game. We played this game. This is a game where you'll play it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's the Resistance / Avalon. So I mean, they're the same game, different theme. I can recall one particular game. Jeff knows what I'm talking about. We were at his mom's house, and it was me, Jeff, and Donkey Kong involved in this particular mission where Donkey Kong was deciding who to take on the mission. I was a spy, but the only person that knew that was Jeff, really, in this moment.
I knew it.
In this moment, and Jeff was a good guy, and it was the last mission. And if the spies won this mission, game over, they win. If they don't, game over, the good guys win, right? And so me and Jeff were locked we were like going back and forth to pitch to Dave who to take on this mission with him. And, I was convinced. I was just sitting there just convincing Dave, and Jeff's like, I don't know how he's doing this because he's a spy. I am the good guy. And Dave was
awesome.
Just starting to turn. Like, I think if he had waited another 10 to 15 seconds, I think he would have got him.
Yeah.
But he ended up picking me, and of course I was
if you pick Ryan, we are going to lose.
Yep. And I was like, dude, no, don't listen. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I wish I could show you, but I'm a good guy. And he's just, he knows you. He's your brother. So we know. So this game has all that kind of stuff. And yes, it's cerebral because you're thinking about that, but really you're just reacting all on emotion. That game is 100% emotional. And you're lying, which I think is the thing that you don't really like about it because it's hard for you to do that. Me and Jeff are really good at lie and deceit, so we just excel there. And anyway, the Resistance and / Avalon is my number 4.
Nice.
Could have been my number 1, just as easily. Because again, I'm not top
it's
5, just 5.
A-list.
Just 5. Natalie, what's your number 4?
My 4th one, not my number 4, is Medium.
Yeah, right. What's your 4th one? Medium.
Because,
very good.
Yeah,
good
Medium is one that it's very tense, and when you like shout out the same thing as someone else, it can be super exciting. Or when you shout out a different word that doesn't match another person, you can get very like, "What are you talking about? There's only one answer."
Right, Mr. Measles. It's all Mr. Measles. Playing that game with Mr. Measles, he's just gonna sit there. You're like thinking of it. And he's like, "There's one answer, bro."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Oh my god, now I feel like an idiot before I've even said anything." He's a teacher, and he's telling me.
Or we run things where we're like 3, 2, 1, and we say the same word, and we're like, "Yes."
Yep. And usually it's vagina or.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. I just love that video save.
Yeah, great. All right, Jeff, what is your third selection here?
My third one is a game called Letters from Whitechapel.
Oh,
great pick. I forgot about this one. Great.
And that one is one where whether I'm on either side, it's just, you're like sweating. You're like trying to figure out, all right, where did this guy possibly go? And then you're on this path. And then when you get a little token that says they went there, you get so excited. And then on the other side, when you are Jack the Ripper, it just is, you listen to everyone talking and it just, your heart's beating and you're like, oh my gosh, they know where I'm going. Yeah. And then when they go the wrong way, you're like, in your face. Like, yes, go that way, dummies. But you have to be like,
invariably when you're Jack the Ripper, even if they make the wrong decision, they spoke at some point about the right decision. And so you're like, don't choose the right decision.
Exactly.
Choose the wrong decision, please.
So that one always gets my blood pressure up, my heart going.
Me too. In the best way. I love being on the other side. I love so much the puzzle of trying to figure out where Jack is. To me, that's one of the greatest things in gaming.
Yeah, it's I like being Jack and trying to avoid.
It's perfect for us, man. It's perfect for us. My number 3 are I'm copping out again, and I'm putting 2 games in here by one of my favorite publishers, Chip Theory Games, that have appeared. Too Many Bones has appeared on many lists, so I'm going to talk about Cloudspire as well. These games are really, really, really experiential games. They're very emotional. There's a lot of rules overhead, so there's a lot to think about, but there's a lot of randomness and a lot, in a good way, and a lot of story and just a lot of stuff to ensconce yourself in the theme. And these games do a fantastic job of it. If you have millions and millions of dollars to spend and limitless time, these are the games you should buy. So that's Too Many Bones and Cloudspire.
My number 3 is Happy Salmon. I feel like I don't really need to explain it too much. You're out of breath, you're cracking up. It's just hilarious.
That's a great... it's hilarious. You're right. I didn't think about those types of emotions, but that's good. That's a good...
Yeah. I mean, think about, Jeff, think about when the last card is played in Happy Salmon and you just...
Yeah.
You know, whether you won or lost, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because like the whole time, because you got to play the variant where you don't speak. You got to play that.
Yeah,
variant.
Absolutely.
And you can't
It's the
not
only
speak.
way.
I'm still just like.
I know. It's so,
And so then,
funny.
and then but it's still building inside you, and then when it's over, you just release it all, and it's like the greatest. That game is so fun.
It is fun.
God, that game is fun.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Jeff, what's your number 2, man?
My number 2 is a game called Tales of Arabian Nights.
Oh God, we haven't
yeah.
played that.
That's another one that is just like silly. Again, you don't care. I don't care about the score or winning or getting points or whatever. It just is. It's hilarious to read these stories and to pick like, all right, I want to rob this old lady, you know, and then read what happened to this story.
Natalie does
and then
in Kings of
and then
Leon.
this old lady turns into some dragon, and it's just like it's hilarious, and it has that more like emotional, again, like visceral emotional reaction versus I need to think about what's logical, because there is no logic in that game.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's number 2.
Absolutely. My number 2, great one, by the way. My number 2 is a game that we've played a lot older, and I think that the design's been improved upon. We talk about it all the time, but still one of the most fun games for me, and this is all visceral, is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. When you're playing the first hour or so of that game, there's nothing like it, in my opinion. It's the most fun for me, and it's all... I get this feeling inside my bones. You know, it turns electric, baby, when you and
This feeling.
yeah. So it's just like I have so much drive to just keep going, and it's not my brain trying to work out a puzzle. It's just like let's go here and see what this says, you know. And then Jeff's writing down the things. He's like, oh, this is from this. Let's go there, and it's just great. You actually feel like you're on, you know, the trail of the murderer, and you're always wrong. But either way, that's my number 2, Sherlock Holmes.
Yep, those are perfect. I honestly, if I didn't lump those together, I think my top 5 would have been Detective, Chronicles of Crime, and Sherlock. It would just been all those games.
Yeah. Exit Unlock. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's awesome. All right, Natalie, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Sorcerer City.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forgot. I didn't even think about this.
That's
What
just-
a perfect example.
That's just one of those games where, you know, I don't typically do well, but I have it because of the timing element. You know, it's just very tense, but exciting, but frustrating, and you never know. Like when you pull out those, what are they, dragons?
Pull it out. Right. No,
What are they? Are they dragons? No.
Well, there are dragons. I mean,
What are they
They're just
called?
monsters.
Oh, monsters.
There's just monsters.
Okay,
that are in
monsters.
the game.
Oh, monsters.
When you pull out the monster, you never know what you're going to get, and you're like, oh no, how am I supposed to do it? I hope I don't get that. And that's a game that, because it's more random and it's up to chance, and there's a time element, it's not as much about like the strategy and the intellect. It's more, you know, about the tension and the fast pace and the feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we all have the same number 1?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't know. Maybe. Well,
Okay.
we might, I guess. You and me. I don't know. All right. Jeff, what is your number 1, my friend?
Number 1. This game is called This War of Mine. And we talked about it a few episodes ago, but it can be a very gut-wrenching game. The story is very real. You make decisions, and if you just don't care and you're just playing and you're like, whatever, but if you invest yourself in the game, making some decisions to like make somebody not eat and like become miserable and maybe die can really like get to you. I remember, I think it's Tom Vassell. He has a review of this game, and he's like, this game is amazing. I love my play of it, and I never want to play it again. He's like, it was
just
just
takes
so
so much out of you.
draining and emotional to read some of these stories. And that pulls feelings out of me more than thinking. So,
Wow.
Nice.
You love that
Number
game,
1.
too, so that's a good, that's some good praise. Mm-hmm. My number 1 is the push your luck genre. So this might be
A whole genre? Nope.
Yeah, basically the whole genre. So Quacks of Quedlinburg, Ink and Gold, Can't Stop, those types of games. Even what's that game we just played with you, Jeff, at Joe's
Deep Blue.
Deep Blue. So these games just have an inherent emotion is built right into the rules and the mechanisms of this game. You know what I mean? You're pushing your luck. It's luck. You know, you're just like, it's all kind of feeling based. Like, I just rolled 3 7s in a row and can't stop, and it's like, I should probably stop because that's not likely to happen again. But I'm feeling hot, baby. Let's do it. Let's roll it. And then it's just like, you know, you're amped up. You're like way emotionally amped up. And the same thing as in Quacks. I mean, I can't think of a game where, outside of maybe Lords of Vegas, which I didn't put on this list, that gives you
it's a good one.
This feeling of, you're just so high and then so low when it doesn't go your way. Those kinds of games have that exact kind of thing in there. And again, like I said, it's just built right into the rule system, right into the mechanism of the game. It's just inherent emotion, and I love that. And whether you like or don't like push your luck games, you can't deny that they give you a very visceral, reaction. So that's my number one. Push your luck games like that. If I had to choose one, I suppose I would say Quacks of Quedlinburg, just because Ink and Gold, I usually always have fun, and can't stop. I always have fun, but I think I felt the most with Quacks because it goes so both ways because there's more of a game there. So that's my number one. What about you, girl?
Cool. My number one was the first game I thought of because it is the number one game that I think of when I think of like feeling, very, very strong feelings in a game.
Is it this?
And it's The Mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's a great,
from beginning to end is just constant feeling, fear and excitement and just like,
regret.
Yeah. And I mean,
as soon as you play, like you think you're locked, like me and Jeff have one card off. I know it. And then I play it and it's like, he's like, no, you're like 20.
I mean, it is 100% based on feeling. You're just staring at each other, wondering what they have. Good and are point. They giving me any clues? And that's my number.
Your guys' list was better than mine.
No way. No way.
Yeah, no, it was. I feel like all my games are the same. Mansions of Madness is War of Mine. Like Detectives, they're all the same types of game. I wish I would have thought of Quacks. That's great. The Mind is a great answer.
Those are great. Yours were great too, man.
The Resistance is great, man.
That one, I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't have thought of that one. Honestly, we haven't played it didn't click. Years.
I know.
You know what I mean? So some honorable mentions I had. Again, I'll say Cosmic Encounter. Lords of Vegas was one that I considered putting. Honestly, Jeff, I thought that might be your number one.
It should have been.
And I was like, well,
that's a good one.
I've only played it one time, but the Spiel des Jahres, Kenner Spiel des Jahres winner Broom Service was on my short list. I only played it the one time, so I don't, Strike, Clank Legacy, Happy Salmon, and Rampage were some of my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, Rampage. Nice. That's a good one.
I had Forgotten Waters, which you put Strike, Tumbling Dice, Quacks,
Crokinole probably a good one too.
Codenames, Flip Ships, and King's Dilemma.
Yeah, King's Dilemma.
That's good. I just wrote down Crokinole as you were saying Crokinole.
Yeah.
I wrote down King's Dilemma when
Crokinole's a great one. That could have easily, again, these aren't top lists, but that could have that belongs on there. I mean.
Yeah, I thought of Team 3 as being one.
Great one.
I also, with just seeing something and having a reaction to it, like seeing the tree in Everdell makes me want to play that game.
Yeah.
See,
just
that's
like
kind of
before
stuff I love hearing,
or
though, dude. It's not even the gameplay. It's just you look at the game and you get a response emotionally that makes you want to play that game.
Or like Tapestry. The Tapestry, not like just looking at it.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful. Like, I gotta play
for what you think of the game itself, who cares? But looking at it, you're like, I want to play that. I want to touch those buildings. They're mine.
Some people see that as a gimmick, and to me, it's just part of the whole gaming experience.
Well, I mean, that's how powerful art is. If it can, give you an emotional reaction, that's a pretty powerful thing, and it could sell games.
Absolutely, and it does.
I also thought of a funny one. Camel Up is also one that's just
talking about what the name of the game is.
Camel Cup.
Can induce that. Yeah, it's Camel. Jeff, me and you are some pot.
Camel Up.
It's Camel Up.
It's Camel Up. The game is not called Camel Cup.
Well, then they should fix the title.
They put it there as kind of like a, it's kind of the Camel Cup, but the game is actually Camel Up, right? I mean,
the game is Camel Up.
I think they did make the C that big because of that. Like,
what does Camel Up
Cup
mean?
You're putting camels up on top of each other.
Yeah, you're stacking them. Or think of it as like Giddy Up, Camel Up. Go.
Yeah, but you're literally putting the camels up on top of each other. That's what you're doing. That's like the whole game. Yes, they're racing, and so it's like the Camel Cup, which is why I think the name is perfect, because it fits both of those things.
Yeah.
But the actual game is called Camel Up, people. Natalie, Donkey Kong, whoever else thinks that.
Controversy.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We've also got a Facebook group. You can search Gamecasters to find us that way. Email us, please, at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. We've had a couple emails, actually, finally, for that. Meeple Mentor, specifically, I'm going to shout you out. Thank you so much for reaching out. You had some great feedback that we're really trying to incorporate into the show. And we're a work in progress here, but thank you so much for reaching out. We really appreciate it. We've also got that incredibly barren BGG Guild. We are having a little bit of traffic go there, mostly Jeff, but we are having a little bit of people write to us in there, so that'd be cool. If you'd like to head on over to there, Natalie, it's Guild 3678. If you love the show or like the show or kind of don't mind the show too much, we would love it if you consider getting us a rating on Apple Podcasts, no lower than 5, please. Anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us, we'd love that too. All music for this and every episode was produced by Jeremy Pete. If you enjoyed it and want some of your own for your next project, please email us to discuss. So, for Natalie, Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I am Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody. Episode 4. 4 change.
Good night.
Good night.